The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Stop! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. And welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Jackie Robinson Day, Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, this program starts now.
Sports!
Are fantastic, and obviously we get a chance to chit-chat about it every single day, and we're lucky for that. Baseball will obviously be a topic of discussion because it is Jackie Robinson Day, so we will certainly have to celebrate the world changing, the sports world changing, and it's also tax day, so everybody figure that out. You know, the IRS doesn't play any games. Who knows what the future holds for the IRS? Seems like every single day my algorithm tells me something new about that world, but what we do know is that if you mess with them, they will mess with you. Let's make sure we get that entire thing handled. Huge day for sports. The NBA playoffs essentially begin tonight with their play-in games. Here we go. Now, obviously, the way the NBA does their play-in games and the way they do their playoffs is certainly unique. 7 versus 8 tonight in the Eastern Conference between the Hawks and the Magic. 7 versus 8 tonight in the Western Conference between the Grizzlies and the Warriors. The winner of that will take the 7 seed in the playoffs in their respective conferences. Then 9 will play 10 on Wednesday in the East and in the West. And then whoever loses that game is out. Whoever wins that game will play the losers of tonight's game to cement themselves as the number 8 overall seed in their respective conferences. And then once they get in, boom, now we're playing the game.
Okay.
So that is the NBA playoffs. I do believe they're trying to make the best teams in and get the best teams in. But on the Western Conference, from 2nd to like 8 seed is like a 4-game spread whenever it comes to the records. So you got a lot of great teams packed in those top 8 spots on the Western Conference. And then on the Eastern side, it's from about 7 to 10 is kind of crap. Kind of shite in this entire thing. Eastern Conference seemingly a little bit more top heavy. Western Conference with the Clippers coming into play as well. And with Jimmy Butler and Golden State Warriors not playing great right now, obviously, but in the playoffs will it be different. And how about John Morant, who is now taking his words and tossing them into the crowd and then not listening to the reactions post is the Memphis Grizzlies time now with the words.
I thought that was a grenade. He didn't want to hear the screams of the people blowing up.
No, come
on.
No, those are his words. Because he always gets taken out of context. So he takes his words, snaps those off, and it says, take them. And then he goes, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. And I think we've been on this hype train since the beginning. Like, Ja, there's no reason for anything to take you away from the sport, take you away from the sports world. We love you. If you think you're being judged unfairly, cool. Just deal with it. We need you to deal with it. And let's not forget about a sword. Let's not forget about a sword of words. You know, can't spell sword without word.
Bingo.
And we need him to make sure he does that as well. The NBA play-in is obviously a start of something very exciting, and we can't wait to see the stars. Remember, in the NBA, it is so long in all the series that take place. This is literally where the stars are born. The reason why LeBron James became the face of the NBA, not only because whenever he was in high school, he was supposed to be the guy, had a Nike deal, the whole thing, but because he played in the playoffs for like 20 years straight, all the way through the finals. Every playoff game is on national television. This is when people learn of the league. And I know, the NFL stole Christmas from the NBA. But for the casual fan, the playoffs is when they learn about the NBA. If you're not in the playoffs, you might as well not even exist for some people. Well, that time is now. Who will create their legendary story? Who will be the champions? Will it be the Boston Celtics yet again? Let's go to the Talks Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Feels like in the Eastern Conference, it's either Boston or the Pacers. I guess the Cavs have an opportunity. The Knicks obviously always going to be dancing. But there is a chance that the Boston Celtics are in the middle of a run right now in an Eastern Conference that's not as deep as the West. And I think that is on display this evening.
Yeah, not even close. I think the other teams that have, projected coming into the season, remember the Sixers were the real hot team. They're getting Paul George, obviously. They crumbled. They suck. And the Bucks as well. People thought the Bucks were going to be very, very good with Lillard and Giannis with a whole season, but they also kind of fell off a bit. But, yeah, this is kind of where it comes to life here. You just mentioned it. Like, this is when all the basketball fans kind of like myself, like Bruce, like some of the others in the office who claim they're fans of some teams, but it really becomes a very competitive season. Yeah, but let me get to that. Yeah, Butch, huge fan of the Heat, but we're talking about the play-in games. We're talking about tonight. Magic Hawks. Congrats, because whoever wins is going to get shit pumped by the Boston Celtics. I don't want those fans to take that for granted. Enjoy your day in the sun, because I think it will be cool for you to get this Tuesday in April. We talk about certain days that fans look forward to. This should be one of those days for the Magic and the Hawks, because as soon as they win, they're going to fly to Boston. They're probably going to stay in a hotel. A fire alarm's probably going to get pulled at that hotel. They're
Just say coincidentally.
Yeah, well, fires happen, and especially in Boston, that can take place.
Especially at the away team hotels.
Bingo, yeah. Exactly. So I want
welcome
them to
Thunderdome.
Yeah, welcome to New England. Welcome to where championships, basically live. This trophy's just not on my desk for fun. You
earned it.
We earned this thing last year. Braun said it. Everyone's coming at the Celtics, and the Celtics are kind of the team to beat. And I know everyone in Boston, I know everyone in the NBA is still looking at the Celtics as that team. But that's the East. Like you talked about the West. Last year, the Warriors were a 6 seed, and they ended up beating the Kings, who were a 3 seed in the first round of the playoffs. Like the West playoffs are going to be awesome. I would say even, Warriors, Grizzlies, and don't want to make assumptions, but you can assume whoever loses that game is going to win the next game. So all 4 of those series, I think, are going to be great.
Warriors 0 for 3 in playing games. They got Steph Curry 0 for 3 in playing games, but they got Jimmy Butler on their team. Playoff Butler now with Golden State, obviously alongside Draymond and the rest of the crew. And they got Ja Morant, who they have to battle and contend with at 10 p.m. on TNT. Let's go to 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler, who was absent from the conversation that Connor just mentioned about NBA fans. But this is shaping up to be a magical playoff series. Stars are potentially aligning for the NBA, which is what any league wants.
Yeah, and this is, you mentioned it earlier, this is where stars are born. Now, we obviously have the old guard, the LeBron, Steph, if he can get in there. Joker kind of be in that mix now as well. Giannis, those guys who kind of established, have won championships. But now this is an opportunity for the new guys. Paolo, who's had a great season in Orlando, kind of in and out of the lineup. He's having an opportunity to kind of get back on that big stage and maybe get to the finals. Halliburton, obviously, he's coming off a gold medal run. He's having a fantastic season, has a big matchup against the Bucks in the first round. And then what the Houston Rockets have been able to do as a team, as a young team, to be the 2 seed in the West. You mentioned how bunched up they are in the West, but what Udoka's been able to do with that squad out on the West side, that's been awesome. So I'm excited to see, obviously, the playoffs start, and then the new stars kind of make the names for themselves, and obviously the old heads take care of business as well.
The Clippers are a team?
Oh, yeah, they're going Kawhi.
They're playing well.
Jimmy Harden's still there.
You talk about the old guard.
Yeah.
Kawhi,
absolutely.
47 minutes the other night. He's playing. Harden's balling.
Absolutely.
And the Clippers are a team now.
Yeah, their squad. Zubac, he's a beast on the boards, putting up double-doubles every night. It was an interview a few weeks ago with Harden. I think they said if the season was to end, they were to be in the play-in game, and he has no play-in experience. And he was like, nah, don't plan on it. We won't be in it. And they closed out the season to make sure that they weren't in it. So on this first round matchup, I think all these matchups in the first round are going to be great regardless of how it shakes out. And this is when it matters, man. Even with betting, we've been looking at, if you a prop better and you've been looking at these numbers, maybe they're at 24, 25 now, they're up around the 30. So guys are going to put up numbers, going to be big time moments, and somebody's going to make some special memories for teams and fans out there.
OKC, the odds-on favorite to win the championship. Congrats to SGA.
Crazy.
That's obviously tough because they've never done it before. SGA hasn't done it, so it's hard to necessarily bet on that. But what they've done all season has just been great. The conversation about Oklahoma City all year has been, we should be talking about OKC more. We should be talking about OKC more. Well, now's the time. national television every single game. Good luck to SGA and the boys. Obviously, I think it's good for the NBA to have teams like Oklahoma City, to have teams like Indiana, to have teams that are in these cities that are very passionate about their teams, but not as many humans. And yeah, congrats to the NBA. We're in your time now.
Let's go.
The time is now, NBA. It starts this evening. Stars are playing. Now, let's talk about Jackie Robinson Day. Baseball is obviously happening. Jackie Robinson is one of the figures in baseball that gets celebrated in a massive way. I assume that continues today, Ty Schmidt.
Yeah, so every April 15th is Jackie Robinson Day. The MLB initiated it in 2004. So, and it just commemorates when Jackie Robinson made his debut. It was in 1947. A lot of people know he broke the modern day color barrier. So, like, the MLB had like 90 years of segregation before he played. He got treated like shit, obviously, but his teammates loved him. And the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers, there's a movie that came out that basically, like, you know, kind of shows like what he had to go through to get Jackie Robinson. And obviously, Jackie comes in and he's the best player in the bigs by a wide margin. So yeah, every April 15th, every team in the MLB and every umpire, they all wear 42 to just kind of celebrate and appreciate what he did for the game of baseball as a whole.
Couldn't imagine what his life was like going in front of a stadium of people walking out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all by yourself. Had to feel alone a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, for that time period. I was not alive then. I obviously could not relate to the situation, but walking out there all by yourself, not knowing what the response is going to be or the reaction is going to be, and then to perform the way he did at sport by not really letting everything outside kind of affect him inside. What a moment for sport. What a moment for the United States of America. Love that the MLB celebrates this.
Yeah, I love how they continue to do it as well. You talked about not knowing. The other part about the scary part of it is knowing, you know, what type of response you're going to get in a lot of these places. And then the teammates, you know, it always, I'm sure it helped him a ton being with certain teammates that looked out for him. Actually watching that old Celtics doc that Conman was talking about.
Like
Bob
Cousy.
Bob Cousy. And they was talking about Bill Russell and the other black teammates that were on that team, just the different things they had to deal with traveling around the country. And a lot of times, you know, sports are kind of on the forefront of changing things like this in the color barrier in this country. Same thing happened in college football and a lot of these different sports. So it's dope what the MLB continues to do for the Jackie Robinson legacy.
Sports are a unifier. You know, you watch Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
You know, there's like so many documented things that have happened throughout history that have brought the world together through sport and competition and also spectacle and saying, holy hell, what a talent. And that certainly was what Jackie Robinson was. So shout out to Jackie Robinson, shout out to sports.
Oh, yeah, Jackie.
Shout out to April 15th. Shout out to the world continuing to get better. And shout out to baseball having an entertaining season thus far. I've enjoyed turning on the games and watching. Dodgers, are we still all in on the Dodgers? I heard they got their asses beat by the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, they actually had their worst home loss in their franchise history
Cubs.
against the Cubs.
Nothing.
Pummeled them.
Yeah, Cubs have been one of like the big surprises.
We're hopping.
Okay.
Yeah, although they did just, you know, one of their best pitchers is going to need Tommy John, so it's a little
Miss you,
early for
Steele.
that. Yeah,
It's baseball.
So it's one of those things. Really, the big thing so far, at least for me watching, is we need to get into the warmer months because it's been like unseasonably cold in a lot of these places. We were in Pittsburgh and it really wasn't that bad, but like
It's like 35, 40 degrees.
too cold to be playing baseball. And you could see like Skeens' stuff, like it doesn't move as much. So like all these guys are major league hitters. When it's that cold and you're throwing 95, you're just throwing like straight fastballs. So guys get pinged around a little bit. And even like the Yankees, they've had a couple players come out and say like, you know, like Jazz Chisholm, they got him from the Marlins last year and he was like, I was playing in Miami. Like it's too fucking cold. I can't play out here. He's like, he's got a
This
terrible.
is a summer sport.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, there have been, you know, like all the kind of big teams who we thought would be good. Like the Mets have started very, very well. The Yankees had a little bit of a slump. They hit 4 homers last night and came out of it. Obviously, the Dodgers, the Padres are undefeated at home so far this year. They're 11-0 at home. So it's one of those things where, again, now you got the NBA playoffs starting, the NHL playoffs are right around the corner. But if you find yourself on one of these nights where there's no other sports going on, like watching one of these kind of marquee games, like you can do worse than that because you're seeing big time bombs from, you mentioned it with the Stars in the NBA, like the Stars have been performing early in this baseball season, which helps quite a bit.
Only thing that matters in sports, I think, is
Yeah.
if the stars show up, which brings us to the Masters. Ratings have been released for the Masters over the weekend, the Masters of Golf down there in Augusta, Georgia. Hard to find for like half the day, all the days until about 3 o'clock. 12.7 million, and then from 7 to 7:15 overtime. 19.5 million people watch Rory put that thing to 2 feet after missing a putt to win it on 18 and then going into extra holes with Justin Rose. What a time for golf. And it's all because the stars showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is legitimately why any of these sports do well. Whenever your big name players play great. Now, I'm not saying there isn't time for a new name or an unknown to kind of break through, but for a league to have success, for a sport to have success, for the world to be interested, we need to know who the hell is kind of operating and performing. Rory McIlroy at the top of that thing with DeChambeau to kick off Sunday was beautiful. Oberg, Scotty Scheffler in the mix, let alone Justin Rose doing his thing, who we obviously have known over the years. Huge for golf, massive for Rory, and the numbers showcased it. Congrats to the Masters.
Yeah.
Congrats to golf. And once again, that leads directly back to the conversation of like, we wish that they were all golfing against each other every single weekend. Because this was Phil missed the cut, Brooks missed the cut, a bunch of big names missed the cut at the Masters. Still brought a huge number, and that's only going to continue. I love the sound of golf on the TV.
Oh, God, it's the best.
In the background. Because it's one of those ones that will give you a heads up when you should watch, you know? Because whether it's a commentator or it's the roar of the crowd, or you'll see somebody's shot happening and you'll hear a roar from somewhere else, and it's like, oh, can't wait till they cut to wherever that is.
Yep.
Here's a guy you've never heard of from 185 yards out. Well, I wonder what he's going to do here.
Yeah.
Oh, stick it or put it in the hole. It's a wonderful sport. It's a great game. Obviously, a magical moment for Rory McIlroy. And golf had great weather and great results through the Masters. Good luck to all of them and congratulations. Now, football's still cooking. There's news coming out of Miami. One half of the Hammer,
Dahn.
Cowboys AP Tone. Jalen Ramsey might be on the move from the Miami Dolphins. Do they have enough people to field a team down there? And obviously, the draft is next week. Okay, we got WrestleMania this weekend. Cannot wait to get to Las Vegas. Then the draft is next week in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is when a lot of movement kind of takes place. Jalen Ramsey allegedly on his way out of the Miami Dolphins. Shador Sanders is doing another workout for the New York Giants this week. The Saints now need a quarterback. Feels like there's a lot of things brewing in the football world, Tone.
Yeah, a ton, and things don't seem to be great down in Miami. I saw a tweet where if they were to trade Jalen Ramsey, I believe 4 draft picks before the draft, they would only have $7 million in cap space, and that's about what they need to have for their draft pick, so then they wouldn't be able to sign anyone else. And as Gump knows, there's a lot of positions they still need to sign this offseason, so things aren't going great down in Miami. But like as far as the draft's concerned, and you talked about Shador,
Jalen's a hell of a player that we need to make sure everybody understands.
Yes, great player, top 5 corner still in the prime of his career, can play. We had this slot defender conversation yesterday, can play outside, can play inside, can blitz, can cover, can tackle, can do absolutely everything at a high level at the cornerback position.
$21 million with what we're seeing everybody else get paid at the current rate, not bad for a team to pick up.
Yeah, he just got a bump, last year, right? To make
he went back to the table. It's Chris Greer masterclass all over again.
What do you
It's
mean?
beautiful. There's no vision. The guy got no idea what he's doing. Paid this guy last year. You're going to trade him and then still have the dead cap. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
We don't have any safeties. We have 2 cornerbacks, maybe 1 defensive tackle. Armstead, Campbell, Ramsey gone. All 3 of our leaders. We are cooked, folks.
Oh, no.
I'm close.
Don't do it,
I'm
Gus.
close to
You
getting the
gotta
NFL hat.
Get off
I'm just going to be a fan of the league. I'm close.
No, you can't be Rob Lowe. And is that who it was?
Yeah,
Rob
yeah,
Lowe has the NFL hat. You can't do that. You've been a Dolphins fan through the thick of this entire thing and the thin of this entire thing. So what? You're another year of probably not going to win it all. You know, at least.
We'll be lucky not to finish last in the East.
Yeah, but if you finish last, you know what that brings? Draft season.
Exactly. Good draft. pick.
Draft season gets real exciting.
You know what they say, you can't win the offseason? I will never forget that offseason we got Tyreek. I mean, that might have been the best time of my life as a Dolphins fan. We did win the offseason.
Well, and how's that going, obviously, now?
But, it was fun for a year or two. Like, this sucks.
Tyreek just went back to the table, too,
Yep, and
last year.
who knows
He got a
who's
bump.
gonna be there.
And if I had to make a bet today on April 15th, I don't think Tyreek or Jalen Ramsey starts the season.
So who are you guys playing down there? Is this replacement football? You got Keanu Reeves and the boys?
We can't even pay our draft picks. We can't field the team. We got no O-line. We got nothing. We got fucking nothing. But we got show me the money. We got that. We'll never forget that.
Got our franchise quarterback.
Do we?
Do like a Vince Papale.
Yeah,
like, hey, this is Miami. I mean, you know how many superstar athletes are down there just waiting for an opportunity. Like, if Mike McDaniel, he's the coolest guy in the South. You just have him kind of get some Joe off the street. I bet Mike McDaniel can draw something
league
up.
man.
That's what I'm saying.
Couple
man.
UFL guys, maybe.
Oh, big weekend, over 1 million people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who made? Was that you? That was rude.
yeah. That was
You see destroying hit from 50 something?
five, yeah.
Big time kick. Love that.
He could probably play out. He could do the Tyreek Hill role.
For the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah.
It is interesting what Miami's doing down there. You said you can't win a Super Bowl in the offseason. You can't win in the offseason. Feels like the Dolphins have certainly lost this offseason. You know, I don't know if anybody else has got it worse than Miami, but keep on trucking down there.
Right.
You guys got great beach, great restaurants.
Super nice.
The weather's awesome. Great UFC
stadium.
event.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, great player. Love Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, cool dance. He needs to just keep doing it.
Love Waddle.
Tyreek's his mentor. So
Okay, so let's get away from the Miami Dolphins situation. Hopefully, they're able to figure it out down there. And to the Finn fam, no, we're pulling for you.
Yeah.
Okay, we are pulling for you. But draft conversation has heated up because the Saints now potentially needing a quarterback with Derek Carr's shoulder injury and potentially being out for an entire season.
Yep.
What the hell happened to him? What was it? How did he get hurt? Maybe this is why the Raiders were like, we're not letting you in our building. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay, we can't have any injuries take place. I'm excited to learn. What was he wakeboarding? Like what? How do you hurt your shoulder so bad you're going to miss an entire season ahead of time and nobody even knows it's going to take place? Godspeed for him on his recovery. The New Orleans Saints, are they in the market for a veteran quarterback? Are they in the market for maybe Aaron Rodgers? Are they in the market for a rookie quarterback? Who would be the rookie quarterback? Well, odds are saying maybe Shedeur Sanders ends up down there. I think Shedeur would be awesome down there in the Bayou. Maybe Jackson Dart, obviously played in the SEC, knows Southern hospitality, even though he's a Utah guy who was originally out in California. That kind of throws a curveball into this entire draft process. Shedeur working out with the Giants, big deal, I think. There's reports now coming out that potentially the Giants front office are a little bit torn on what quarterback is the right quarterback to go with. Remember, the Giants were all in on every veteran quarterback that they could possibly be in. Allegedly, $100 million offer to Matthew Stafford, fully guaranteed. Allegedly. Aaron Rodgers, they were fully in on Aaron Rodgers, allegedly. They bring in Jameis. They bring in Russell Wilson. Shane and Daboll understand the situation in New York, especially with last year's Hard Knocks offseason, with moving on from Saquon going on to do what he did. Daniel Jones is now on the Indianapolis Colts. So they understand that it is a pressure-packed moment. Will they go with a rookie quarterback while also having a very veteran-filled quarterback room, possibly to show them the way? Is it Shedeur? That's the convo happening this week, I guess.
Yeah, for the Giants, there's always levels to this thing. And, you know, we talk about Daboll and Shane. Is this their last season to potentially – secure a job for their future because they were potentially on the hot seat this offseason? And does drafting Shedeur help them with that this season if they're going to have Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston as their quarterback? And then, they're going for another workout, which they've already attended his showcase workout. They were at every single one of the Colorado games this year, whether it was that was for him or Travis Hunter. Or is, a lot of people are speculating, is this the owner coming in and saying, like, I'm not worried about your guys' jobs next year. I want Shedeur because he's going to be our quarterback for the future. So there's levels to that. I don't know why there's going to be another private workout with Shedeur. And then, a couple weeks ago, Kuiper actually mocked Jackson Dart to the Saints. Now, Shedeur is the favorite, odds-on favorite to go to the Saints right now, plus 125, I think plus 330 for the Giants, somewhere around there. But so the Saints were potentially looking at a quarterback already because of the Carr situation, not his injury, but just they weren't going to move forward with him as their future quarterback. But now that this has happened, it's definitely like put a accelerant on this situation for their quarterback. Now, a lot of people are thinking it's Dart. A lot of people are thinking if Shedeur Sanders gets by 3, it's definitely going to be the Saints for Shedeur. So as far as that situation goes, it's everything. All we know is Cam Ward's going 1.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Full chaos.
Yeah.
Next Thursday night at the NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which
Great.
we will be at.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to the NFL folks.
Shout out.
Shout out to the, let's go shake their hand. Let's try to make a positive out of this entire thing, which we will always try to do in every situation, legitimately. There might be some times where it doesn't feel that way, but inevitably going to try to be an additive to everything. So we will be there. Full chaos is potentially looming for this NFL draft.
Yeah.
Because the Browns allegedly were only taking a quarterback. That was like months ago.
Yeah.
Browns are definitely taking a quarterback. Now they're not definitely taking a quarterback somehow. And then the Giants, well, if there's their quarterback available, or are they going to take the best player available in Travis Hunter? And then what happens with the Patriots pick? Is somebody going to want to trade up now because there's potentially quarterbacks ahead? This is the most amount of question marks I think we've had going into a draft since we've covered it, especially in the first 5-10 picks.
Yeah, definitely the order. Like, it feels like we know, like, Ward's going 1, but we know Ward, Hunter, and Carter are going in the top 4. Like, no matter what, they're not falling past New England. Because for New England, they're going to take Carter or they're going to take Hunter if they're there. If not, that's when, like,
what if they could trade?
That's when the trade back would come into place. Where, like, if the Saints, if Sanders is there at 4, who says the Saints or someone else now? Because of this Jackson Dart conversation, like someone in that mid tier who maybe thought, like, oh, early on this guy's going to fall to us, but now all of a sudden, they don't know. And Abdul Carter, who's represented by Drew Rosenhaus, he has his final meeting today, and that's with the Patriots. And Rosenhaus told Carter, like, hey, we're only visiting the top 4 teams. We're not going past any of these other players or any of these other places. You're going to go in the top 4. So it really does depend, like, where are, the Browns and Giants at when it comes to the quarterback? Because, we've referenced it a bunch of times, but the other thing, and this was before we even knew Cam Ward was locked in at 1, the only thing that we knew was the Browns were taking a quarterback at 2. And that was like before 10, like that's still when Tennessee had questions if they were going to take a quarterback or if they were going to trade out.
Generational player.
If they were going to take, a Carter, Abdul Carter, or, Travis Hunter, because they've been talked about as generational players. And obviously it's clearly gone to Cam Ward over them two. But it's just insane. I'm so pumped up for it.
Me as well. Cannot wait for next Thursday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This weekend in Las Vegas for WrestleMania. We'll be live Friday from WWE World, 9 a.m. local in Vegas.
Boom.
That's early.
Yeah.
Okay, noon show, obviously, Eastern, 9 a.m. local. Doors for WWE World open at 8 a.m. And Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief, will be joining us at 9:15 local. Cannot wait to hear his thoughts just days before the main event against CM Punk and Seth freaking Rollins. And then Triple H, the mind behind this WrestleMania, will join us in the second hour. And I believe there's one more massive guest that we will announce later this week joining us on Friday. We cannot wait to get out there. And then on Monday, we'll be out there as well. Massive guests in abundance. We cannot wait for WrestleMania weekend in Las Vegas. And also, the time is now for the NBA to take over prime time slots, for the NBA to take over topical sports conversations, for the NBA to find out who their next champion will be. Tonight there's playing games to decide the Eastern and Western Conferences 7th and 8th seeds. Who will tell us more information about that than the man that runs the game? The best agent in the NBA, the founder of Clutch Sports, friend of the program, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Paul.
Hey, Rich.
What's
up, fellas?
Okay, so you told us you might potentially be in transit. The fact that you're not, I want to let you know we thank you for. We thank you for it because you were worried about the quality of the connection, I think. So you're only holding up right now for us to talk to us. So we appreciate you, Rich. Great to see you. Okay, let's talk about this. NBA playoffs are where stars are made. This is when the whole world is watching the NBA. Prime time, every single game.
Best time of year. Best time of year right now.
It is. It probably does feel like that way as an agent, right? Like real people.
Well, you have everything. All the sports are, the draft, NFL draft. Now you have the NBA playoffs, obviously, hockey, and then getting back into baseball. So it's that time of year. It's perfect. I just came from the Masters, which was unbelievable, by the way. So.
Oh, you were down there at the Masters? Wow.
Oh, it was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible.
What you have? Do you have the fermento cheese sandwich or whatever they call it?
I did not, but I did have the peach ice cream sandwich, which was great. My good friends at Delta really took care of me. Ed Bash was a good friend of mine, the CEO of Delta, and his team, Annika and his team. They really, really rolled out the green carpet for us. So it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the trip. It's great.
The green carpet, I like that. How about nobody on their cell phones? How awesome is that? Beautiful time?
No cell phones. I'm not gonna lie, I panicked for about 2 hours, but after I realized it's okay, it was good. It was good. But they did have phone service, just not your cell phone. It was great.
It's like you feel like you're going to miss everything, and then you get back to your phone and you realize, okay, I can take a day away from this. Was that your first time down there?
That's my first time. I've been invited a few times, hadn't gone, but this time, I couldn't turn it down. It was great. It's really great.
Are you a
something
golfer?
I look to go back for every year. I'm not a big time golfer, but I did find myself watching the rest of the Masters, which, and then I did see my golf coach at a game, and so maybe that's all a sign. Maybe I'll get back into it.
Hey, they say a lot of business is done out there on that golf course, Rich. I assume you know.
I can do business anywhere, man. I don't.
Okay, let's talk about the business tonight. The play-in games, 7 and 8 taking each other on in the Eastern and Western Conference. Winner cements itself as the 7th seed. Loser has to take on the winner of the 9-10 games happening tomorrow night. When we look at tonight, Eastern Conference, not as deep as the Western Conference. Feels like Grizzlies, Warriors, obviously a lot more hype than Hawks, Magic. How should we be viewing these games tonight, Rich, in your eyes?
Yeah, the hype is one thing. Obviously, anytime Steph Curry and the Draymonds of the world are involved, it's going to be hype. But when you think about the East matchup, it's pretty evenly matched. Look at Paolo and Wagner. Obviously, you have Trey and Dyson. Dyson is right up there for probably most improved, but definitely on the first team all defense. I think they'll miss Jalen Johnson, the Hawks, and obviously the Magic will miss Suggs with his ball pressure. Although they have KCP and Anthony Black who defends the ball really well. I imagine mostly he's going to put Trey in every pick and roll, and also blitz them on the defensive end and make someone else beat them. And then with the Hawks, I think there are others going to have to step up. I mean, Trey could be Trey at times, but he's going to be dealing with much bigger defenders. It's going to be interesting. This is a toss-up. This is really a toss-up, this one is.
Okay, so
it can go either way.
Eastern Conference toss-up, Western Conference Grizzlies, Warriors tonight. Jimmy Butler being added to the Warriors. Does that change them? Because Steph's 0-3 in play-in games is the stat. And does that matter now that Jimmy's on the squad?
It definitely does. It definitely does. Anytime you add someone that has that, that playoff experience like a Jimmy, he's been to the finals, twice. And he's been playoff Jimmy for many years. Now you add that to a Draymond and a Steph, who we know what their championship pedigree is and how they lock in during the playoffs. They're going to be tough to beat. But you got those young guns. You got those young guys over there in Memphis. Can Jaren Jackson stay on the floor? It's going to be the real issue there. Bang, look for him to have a big game, and Ja will be Ja. But I think from a Golden State perspective, it's going to be the others that really helps them win this game. Can Moody and Podge really make shots if they're on the floor? I thought last game having Peyton and Draymond kind of shrunk the floor for them versus having some guys that can actually help spread the floor. So when Steph gets into his coming off of different screens and things like that, have a little bit more spacing. And then when you have Jimmy there, just all three of those guys, it made it a little bit tough, but I know it was more for the defensive end of things. So we'll see how that works tonight. I would have to probably give the home court advantage aspect to it, and obviously Steph is always Steph. Anytime you have him, you definitely have a chance. But this is what the playoffs are made of. This is where guys really step up and take advantage of the moment. But I do think Bane will be the X factor in tonight's game.
Love that. Remember, the teams that lose tonight are not necessarily out. They will have another opportunity. No. They will have to play against the winner of the 9-10 seed to inevitably get the 8 seed in their respective conferences. Let's talk about the playoff picture a little bit more. D-Bud has a question for you, Rich.
Yeah, with the matchups, obviously we got to figure out what's going on with the top 2 seeds after the play-in, but with the first round matchups that we already know on the East and West, which ones are you most interested in, you think will be most interesting in the first round?
Look, listen, that Nugget-Clipper series is going to be tough. Obviously, you have to deal with Jokic, but Kawhi seems to look extremely healthy, and they've really managed him properly, getting him halfway through the season, managing his back-to-backs. I think he played his first back-to-back not too long ago. he looks incredible. And you know, T. Lou and his game planning, he's always going to come prepared. James is tough off that. You know, anytime you can set a high ball screen, he's getting downhill. He loves to draw fouls, and obviously if he has the three going, he's really tough to stop. But Jokic is Jokic, and they've been there before, and so that matchup is going to be, I think that goes 7. And then you have the Timberwolves Lakers matchup. That's not going to be an easy one for anybody. Anytime you're dealing with that youth, that size that the Timberwolves have, and obviously Ant being able to be Ant, he can give you 40 any night. On the other side, you have the experience with LJ and Luka being, you know, at the level that they play IQ wise, etc. But they're going to have to depend on their others as well. Austin Reeves would be the X factor in that series, I believe. And then when you look on the East, I'm looking forward to that Detroit Knicks series.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a bad matchup for the Knicks. And JB Bickerstaff has those guys playing really, really well. And so, you know, look, I don't think there's the Cavs and Celtics, they can't sleep depending on who they get. Wow. And then obviously, you know, the Rockets. The Rockets play the Warriors. That'll be very interesting. Very interesting series there. And so, look, it's the playoffs, man. I think anybody can be beat. There's never been this much parity in our league. I think I said this to you guys before. So, you know, I'll be glued. I'll be at some glued. I'll be, you know, this is a time where you don't have enough monitors. And, you know, being at a game is kind of torture for a guy like myself, because I like to hear and see everything that's going on.
Yeah, you need to catch up on happenings around the entire NBA that you run. You know, you need to at least keep your head.
No.
Yeah, the issue when you're at one game is there's only 2 teams here. There's a bunch of other things happening that obviously you have to monitor and keep your eye out for. And you talk about the parity of the league. I think it's been electrifying. And I think it's all because of the stars. You talk about Kawhi coming back. It's like, that's good for basketball. Because even if people haven't been paying attention all season, the casual fan, they know Kawhi's name. They know the Kawhi moments.
Absolutely.
So him and Harden, too. Harden back, too, in the bright lights.
And T. Lou.
Yeah, great news for the NBA, I think, as a whole, having them. Now, the NBA made some massive moves, I think, very close to the playoffs. Connor has a question for you, Rich.
Yeah, Rich, it feels weird that 2 teams, the Nuggets and the Grizzlies, who are in the playoffs and still hunting for a championship, would fire their coaches over the last month or so before the most important time starts. Is that normal? Like, what the hell happened there? Is Jokic now the head coach of the Nuggets, and then is Ja the head coach of the Grizzlies? I assume the second one probably not, but maybe Jokic with his basketball IQ everyone talks about is the head coach of the Nuggets now. Like, can you tell us what really went on there, what the situation was? And also, I know you have a million things to do, but, you know, we're still waiting on our Clutch Sports hats, and I see you have one on, and they're really cool. So
well, this is not a Clutch Sports hat. This is Clutch Athletics, but they're on the way. They're on the way. I will send you both. No, I think the last thing Jokic wants to do is coach. I don't think he has any desire to do that. He has enough with his between him putting up triple doubles and his horses. But I think you know, it's uncharacteristic. It's not something that we've seen consistently throughout our league. But at the end of the day, when owners make decisions, it's their team. They're making a decision for the reasons that they all know internally. And so, you know, some good coaches, pretty good coaches, were let go of their roles. And you know, the timing of it, again, very different. We haven't seen that before. But at the same time, they made the decisions, and now the team has to focus. All these teams have to focus towards the playoffs with Memphis and obviously Denver. The Phoenix situation, 3 coaches in 3 years. I think they look to have some consistency there. Obviously, the guy there for them that I think is probably likely the mainstay is a guy like Devin Booker, has a lot invested there, and you know, doesn't seem like the type of guy that want to be uprooted unless you force his hand. And so we'll all see what happens there. But I do imagine they try to go a little younger, maybe, and try to have some consistency there within their coaches. They've had changes. It's hard to have continuity when you have that many changes at the head coaching position. The Mike Malone thing, again, he had been there, I think 10 years, won a championship, come from a great coach's pedigree, and obviously I've known known Mike a long time. He's an unbelievable coach. I don't think he has a hard time finding a job if he wants one. And the same with Taylor Jenkins. I don't think those guys have a hard time finding an occupation.
Malone just won, right? Didn't he just won?
A couple years ago. Yeah. But, look, it happens. I've been in situations where coach went to the NBA Finals the year before and was fired midway through the season.
Oh, Vogel.
And, well, no, Vogel actually won a championship and was let go the following season. But Blatt was let go during the season. And again, we all know the I think you kind of joked about it earlier in terms of why those things happen. The owners make these decisions. Players don't make these decisions. The owners make these decisions, and so they made a decision that they think is best for their organization going forward.
I was wondering how LeBron got all these coaches fired from all these other teams. Because that's always the
LeBron makes it.
LeBron, fired.
Le GM, Le owner,
the
coach.
Yeah, Le guy that runs the NBA.
We know how that goes.
Yeah, I didn't know Joker had some Le Jokic in him too. And it is wild that these things happen though. Like legitimately.
No, these things happen much above those guys, and obviously the star players, they take some of the blame or whatever the case may be. But I think ownership has an idea of which way they want to go in. So we'll see.
I do love that these owners are all billionaires, with egos, and they got to figure it out. Stephen A. Smith, Ishby is a friend of the program. Stephen A. Smith said, "You're staring down potentially the worst owner of all time."
Yeah. Whoa. Three coaches, 3 years, tough.
You're staring down. And also, with all the deals that they made and all the trades that they made, they weren't able to do anything at the deadline because they would have been so hamstrung in the future because of all the trades and everything they've given up. So it's like the Phoenix Suns now find themselves in a beautiful city. Beautiful city. Phoenix is awesome place.
The arena.
The arena, glorious. The gorilla. Their mascot, great gorilla.
And KD wants to leave.
But you just mentioned it. They're going to have to go younger. They're going to have to do a full rebuild, basically, in Phoenix, right? Because Kevin Durant probably on his way out. When do those discussions really start happening?
I think it depends on what happens this summer. Obviously, Brad has to no trade, but Kevin's in a different situation. What you're hearing is they're probably going to work together and try to find a solution. Whichever team wants to add a Kevin at this stage of his career has to be looking to win a championship. And then what do you give up, right? I think that's the biggest question. For Phoenix, again, Matt's a friend, and obviously he's new to the ownership over the last few years. It's tough. You have guys that want to come in, you want to win, you're determined to win, and you have that competitive nature. But in the NBA, it's all about flexibility. It's all about assets and flexibility. And anytime you are stricken with that, it's very hard to make change for the better. And so, that's going to be a tough hole to dig out of. But I think they'll find a way to have some type of positive direction. I think it's having a conversation with Book and see how long he can withstand maybe not being at that playoff contention level, and if he can have some patience from that perspective, then it gives you a little bit more capability to strategize. If that is not so much, then you have to think about, okay, we have to move everybody and start all over. These next few drafts have some strong talent in it, and with the way things are set up from a CBA perspective, it's going to get harder and harder to maintain these level of players on these major contracts for as many years as you need to actually to win. And so if you have it already and you're not successful, then you have to somehow figure out how to unclog those pipes and kind of allow it to be a different flowing system there.
Unclog the pipes. You got to take that plunger out, and I think Ishby is not scared to do that. He would mop the floors.
No, I don't think so.
He told us, my fans, Phoenix Suns fans, don't want to hear about luxury tax. They don't care, and he's paid the most. I think
he don't care about. If you listen, I've seen it with Dan Gilbert. I've seen it with. I know Ishby is not caring about paying the luxury tax if his team is winning. We've seen it with the Warriors. When you're winning, it's a different dynamic. But at the same time, how long do you want to carry that, right?
When you're losing and you're not making the playoffs, and then you can't make any moves, it's like Ishby has got to be sitting there going, I was doing mortgages 2 years ago.
Well, he'll pick. I I think he's a very smart guy. He's built an unbelievable business that afforded him to buy the team so he can figure this out. And, again, look at what Boston's doing. They have a huge payroll. They won last year. I think they'll be right there this year in the conversation to win it again. Then what do they do this summer, right? That's another conversation. So whether you're winning or losing, it's problematic when you have that level of contracted players. So, we'll see.
I got a loan from Ishbia's company, so I'm helping support the entire thing out there. It feels like he's just throwing it out the window. He's looking for a 30-year. He's looking for a 30-year on these guys. That thing's only happening, in a 2-year span. Excited to see what happens with Kevin Durant. Because remember all the excitement whenever he went to Phoenix. Here we go. That's going to be it. I mean, yeah, you're right, everywhere. But whenever he went to Phoenix, it was, here we go. Him, Booker, in Phoenix, going to be the team that's going to lead the Suns back. And then now it's just not.
But it's not just about names, right? You got to have cohesiveness. You have to have, obviously, it's a team thing. So, what that depth looks like, how those guys actually fit the mold, the camaraderie within the locker room and things like that. Losing obviously hurts everything. Winning heals a lot of different wounds. And so, look, the names on the back of the jersey is one thing. We've seen it not work in other instances. 20 years ago, it didn't work. When the Lakers had all the names, they walked into Detroit and they was beat 4-1 in the finals. So that's not the end all be all. I always love a big two. I don't really love a big three. I don't really. People talk big three, but the big three thing has never really worked. And you say, well, what happened in Miami? That wasn't really a big three. There was 3 guys that went in the lottery and they did really well individually on their team, so they put up big numbers and had big accomplishments. But when you think about it, Bosh was the ultimate professional. He took a back seat and he played a role in which, because he had such a high IQ and he was such a professional as an individual, his approach to everything is what made that work. When you look in Boston, okay, you can say Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce was a big three. Again, thinking about names, but the way that offense was ran, Rondo's capability during that time, it was a lot different. When you seen people go for that, it never really worked. And I've had this conversation with several different, owners of teams and having this debate, whether you go big three, whether you not go big three. I like a big two and depth is what I like. That seems to be a winning pedigree.
Need people to buy in. We talk about that Olympic team. And it's like you got all these superstars that are just doing their role, doing their job. Tatum not even
but
playing.
how many of them played big, you look at the effort that Devin Booker made. He starred in a role on that team. But on that team coming in there, you have this approach already to know that this is what I have to do. It's very hard to get the guys to do that on a team that I'm a max player on, so I should be this player, right? And then you have the people around them and the comments being made. It's just, it's all about the mindset and your approach. So, but I prefer, again, I don't want to go into team ownership or run a team, but if I was to do that, my focus would be a big two, depth, guys with a professional attitude and approach, guys that want to star in a role and that are selfless night in and night out and giving a valiant effort on both ends of the floor night in and night out. And that normally equates to winning. I've been a part of winning teams for many years, whether it's through high school, in the pros, been around it for many years. That equates to winning for sure. And it also equates to winning within an environment of what you guys have built and business as well.
Everything. I think you get everybody bought in. Obviously, that is the best for the entire team. You look at what Boston's doing right now, right? That's Tatum and Brown, and then everybody just kind of bought in around that.
No doubt.
And they have selfless. Pritchard's selfless.
Yeah.
We know what Holiday brings to the table. Derek White, we've seen what he did, in the Olympic team and also in Boston. Just a selfless mentality. Look at Al Horford.
Yeah.
Again, been in the league for so many years, a champion, selfless. And so that is a winning pedigree. It just is.
And then even if you go back, that's how the Spurs won so many championships. Like they had.
Ginobili could have started on any team in the NBA. He embraced the role coming off the bench as a sixth man, but he finished the game. and he was unbelievable. So again, we've seen this work time and time again, and I guarantee you, ask any GM, any winning coach, any winning owner, they'll tell you the same thing.
Well, let's talk about Big Two that there is now in Los Angeles, but it used to look very different. That guy down in Dallas still has a job. They're telling him to his face he doesn't deserve it, Mavericks fans. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Rich, it was reported that Nico Harrison is holding a press conference today with Dallas media, but no recording devices are allowed to come in or anything like that. He kind of just wants to, I guess, set the stage for before the play-in game. Have you ever heard of something like this happening before? And then B, is there anything really outside of the Mavs winning a championship that he can do to kind of save face? Or is this thing inevitably going to kind of crash and burn because we see what Luka's doing in L.A.?
Look, obviously it's a tough spot to be in, but I know Nico many years. I know the person he is. I know the man that he is, the father that he is. And so I don't question Nico when it comes to things. Obviously, he made a business decision that they felt was the right decision for their organization, and and they followed through with it. And so, at the end of the day, that ownership group and that front office made a decision. I've moved on from that because obviously I have Anthony Davis there that needs to really focus and try to turn whatever the culture or the environment is into a positive the best way he can. Obviously, he can't replace the guy that they traded, but he has a job to do. And so, it's, again, this is something that we've never seen before, and everyone wants to blame it somewhere or not. But obviously, that's the seat you sit in that comes with the territory, and so you have to take on those things. And I'm sure Nico is trying to handle that to the best of his ability. But ultimately, I think that's going to be a forever state. Obviously, we've seen the game when they went back and played there, and we know how beloved Luka was there. But, decisions are made, and at some point, we all have to move on. And so I know it's tough for that environment, that fan base, and so on and so forth. But, I just think if you continue to focus there, it's going to always be this greatness. And I think that's unfair to the guys that's there every day, putting in the work, putting in the effort, trying to win ball games. And so, I don't know how he pleases everyone there. I don't think you can please everyone in life all the time. And so, when you make a decision, you have to move on.
So in the NFL, we had Hard Knocks off season, and Joe Shane, the general manager of the Giants, was in 8K, basically saying, we're not paying Saquon Barkley that amount of money. We need to move on from Saquon.
Yeah.
And then Saquon goes and wins the Super Bowl and is player of the year and breaks a rushing record for a season with the Philadelphia Eagles in the division right in front of his face. And it's like this Luka trade with Luka and LeBron seemingly working out and playing very well. Nico's going to have to watch that. And you said it's a gray that it gets chatted about, and I understand for you, especially representing players that are on the Mavericks, and how everybody was talking about how the Mavericks got fleeced here and everything like that. I couldn't even imagine the convos you have to have with Anthony Davis, because the way he's being talked about as if he's not, a former NBA champion and a top 10, top 15 player in this whole thing. But boy, if the Lakers go on a run here and Luka does what he did last year for the Mavs and take them to the finals, it is going to be loud for Nico forever. And I'm happy you know him, because I don't know him. The only thing I know of him is he made a decision that everybody that I know around basketball said, oh, this guy's trying to make his fans hate him. Like, this guy's trying to tank the team. And if he's not trying to do that, that'd be a tough thing to have to battle against for the rest of your career. Good luck, Nico. Good luck. Good luck. No recorder in this conversation. Nico just wants to introduce himself and maybe to the reporters and keep it moving going forward. This guy, accomplished businessman with Nike. Now he's running the Dallas Mavericks. New ownership, obviously. They got Clay down there. They got AD down there. They obviously have a squad that, maybe is able to turn around. And maybe the story's different next year. But this year...
Well, they listen, they haven't been healthy. I think as a healthy team...
But they moved on from Luka because they didn't think he could play, right? And they say this guy's too fat, too slob, not good enough to play. And then their team's not healthy.
And listen, again, I can't, mask whatever decision that was made. That's not my job. What I will say is they're not healthy. So whenever they're able to be whole, it's not one versus the other. It's whatever they felt like the team would be better positioned for going forward. Now, as long as these guys do well on this other end in terms of where Luka is now at, and obviously, yeah, that's going to sting. That's always happens. We call it after cards. And so same way with Saquon. If Saquon does not win a Super Bowl or whatever the case may be, then the sting is probably a little bit less. But the fact that he did win, yeah, it's going to sting. And that's the thing. That's the price that you pay when you make those type of decisions. That's the risk that you take when you make those type of decisions. But look, we've all been in situations where we have to make big boy business decisions. And when you make those decisions, you have to live with the consequences of those decisions. That just comes with the territory when you are a decision maker. And so, we'll see. But again, Nico is somebody who's a dear friend to me, and someone that I support and love as a friend, and I know his family. I've been around him for 20 plus years, and he made a business decision, and so he has to move forward with what he think was right, and obviously Luka's in a different place now, and the Lakers have a big matchup with the Timberwolves, and they have some things they have to correct. They don't have a perfect roster. They don't have a perfect team. It's going to take a valiant effort for them on both ends of the floor. They have to take better care of the ball and things of that nature, and better care, different shot selection, and really dig in. This Timberwolves team is not going to be easy to beat. They're not going to be easy to beat. And I know it's 3 versus 6, but I think it's actually closer to that. And so we'll see.
In the Western Conference, 2 through 8 are like 4 games apart in win-loss. So you're talking about a lot of parity over there. Every matchup is going to be high stakes, high risk, high reward. Cannot wait to watch it. We appreciate the hell out of you, Rich. Good luck the rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hello. It's Rich. All right, he's gone. Yep. Yeah, see, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
No
this.
thanks.
Don't you patronize me. Don't you do that. Every time I FaceTime him, I get some sort of hello.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
Yeah, how would you not?
Mm-hmm. Goat. We're talking goats around here. I mean, he's surrounded by goats. Him saying Nico's a dear friend. Okay, I've known him for 25 years. He made a decision. He made a business decision. And then him repping AD. Mm-hmm. And then AD finding out at 1 a.m. or whatever. Allegedly, there was group text messages. Everybody thought it was fake. They thought it was a Centel. They thought it was NBA Centel. They thought Shams got hacked. I mean, it seemingly shocked the entire system of the NBA. Now Luka and LeBron can go on a run. Luka crying as they were showing the... By the way, you can tell the digital team had a lot of love for Luka.
Yeah, they were big fans.
You can tell the video team was like not happy that this took place with the amount of effort they put in that video, behind the scenes laughing, everything about him. And he started crying up, and they dropped 40 on him.
Incredible.
Had to do it. It felt like Luka said to him.
Yeah, and then the other big story of that game was during the opening tip, guess who didn't shake hands? LeBron and AD. After the game, guess who stuck around and shook the hand of every single Lakers player except for LeBron James? Anthony Davis.
Oh,
so I don't know. I didn't want to put Rich on the spot, but looks like 2 of his big time players don't like each other anymore. Uh-oh.
We'll certainly ask Rich Paul about that going forward. LJ, I believe, is how he referred to LeBron. This is like when, The Rock, Mr. Johnson, Dewey, DJ, Dwayne. Don't know the proper title.
Hi, Chief.
Final boss.
Bingo. That one. All right, we'll be back on the other side with Peter Schrager. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.
All roads leading to Eugene, and I can't help but say, hey, you make me wanna jump, put my hands up and pick my heels up and all again now. A little bit something now, 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 a little bit louder 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 now, a little bit louder. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great day in Oregon. We got a cannon! OH! We are! Thank you. I love this stuff. Let me go ahead and cock that thing. Boom on! Boom on! Ah! Boom! Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Roughnecks. We got engineers, we got doctors, we got economists. We got real tests that have real implications happening. And all of these sons of said, give me college game day. Instead of studying, I had some questions about coming out here to Berkeley, but after experiencing it, it is very evident that this is one of the best cities in this here United States of America. USA, 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 USA. And this represents everything that is great with this country, with our sport. It doesn't matter which way you view the world. It doesn't matter which part of the country you're from. College football runs through our soul. And that is what a celebration today is all about. I am thankful to be here amongst these nerds and future geniuses and future people that are going to run this place. It's an honor to be in Berkeley. It's foggy.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Jackie Robinson Day, Tuesday, April 15, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Sports are fantastic, and on this Jackie Robinson Day, Hembo sent over some life stats about how sports unify the world, how sports change the world, how sports lead the way for the rest of the world, which is why we're incredibly proud to be a part of the sports world. April 15th, 1947, Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier in sports. That's why we're celebrating today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
July 26, 1948, a year and a few months later, Harry Truman issued the Executive Order 9981, which abolished military discrimination. Then in May 17, 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education, racial segregation in public schools deemed unconstitutional. Jackie Robinson is credited with leading the way for all of it. From 1949 through 1962, 11 of the 14 NL MVPs were black. Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Willie Mays, Roy Campanella, Dahn Newcomb, Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Frank Robinson, Maury Wills. Most WAR from 1947 to 1956. What is WAR?
That is wins above replacement.
Stan Musial, 75.6. Ted Williams, 61.5. Jackie Robinson, 61.4. That spanned Robinson's entire career. A lot of people talk about him changing the game, changing the world. He was also brilliant as a baseball player. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was quoted as saying, "Jackie Robinson made my success possible. Without him, I would never have been able to do what I did." Shout out to sports. Shout out to Jackie Robinson on this April 15th, 2025. And also, shout out to you getting your taxes done.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They'll get you.
Yes, they will.
Yes, you will.
Shout out to Jackie. What a dog.
Sean Kingston.
Talk Stables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone is here. 9-year NFL vet, host of Everything DB, Good D, Bad D. Darius J. Butler is here.
Yes, sir.
D-Butch, baseball's a thing. The NHL is happening. And the NBA starts its playoffs with their playing games this evening. The Masters just had 19 million people watch over the weekend. And the draft is next weekend. WrestleMania is a few days away. Feels like it is a magical time for sport, Darius J. Butler.
Rich just said it. It's the perfect time for sports. Obviously, it's Mania season. We just had Raw last night, which was incredible, by the way. Great job out there with Cole.
Thank you, Sacramento. Long flight.
And we talk about the playoffs. Like I a couple years ago got into hockey playoffs. It's hard for me to say it's the best because I am a football guy through and through. Sure. But it's right there. Hockey playoffs, baseball's in full swing now, and NBA playoffs. This is when it really, really matters. And we talk about golf, the golf world, when the best are playing against each other. That's when it's the best. But play-in starts tonight. NBA playoff starts tonight. And then once we have the play-in done after these next few days, then we have all the matchups on both sides. Should be a great time for basketball.
Speaking of basketball, AD and LeBron did shake hands.
Yeah, comments for the shit.
Yeah, you're just making up live. Look at this.
Jeez,
look at they got their whole handshake. Whole handshaking. Yeah, Connor, the internet saying you're just spreading lies. Spreading lies again. AD and LeBron had their full handshake in. They knew it was going to be emotional. It was Luka's night. You know, it's not about that. It was Luka's night. Is what they were doing. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Attica, Ohio, is a college football national champion, a college football legend and icon, a Super Bowl champion, a father of 10, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawker, how you doing, pal? Thank you for traveling out here yesterday. What a wonderful time in sport.
Oh, what a beautiful time. But you did forget, I believe F1 Saudi Arabia is this weekend as well. So that might be top thing for people too, especially guys like Darius that want to see.
AJ, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Coming off the Bahrain Grand Prix.
In Japan?
The what?
In Bahrain.
Okay.
It's a country.
Bahrain,
Jesus. No, but they were just in Japan.
They were. It was Japan before.
Who won?
I'm glad the program is dialed in.
Where's Bahrain?
Who won?
No, Bachi.
Sorry.
Bachi doesn't know, brother.
We just talked about every Mania. I mean, big night out. Still on my mind.
You can end the gimmick.
It was a lot going on. But I believe Lando
You don't
won.
like it.
Yeah.
Lando, I think George Russell came in second.
You think?
George Russell, huh?
Yeah, the singer?
Yep.
And then,
It's George Michael.
Third podium. Good race, though. Good race.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Where in the world is that?
Good race.
Bahrain.
Oh, no, Piastri won.
That's what I said.
Oscar?
Piastri, Lando's teammate.
Pistorius is racing cars now?
Poor little Tink Tink is out there in the F1.
Yeah.
Every team has scored points.
They got this guy coming out to this race. You got to check in over here, Tink Tink.
Walked in with the pedals on his feet.
Free? He's not free.
Has the gas and the brake pedal already attached
I don't think
to
he's
his
free,
feet.
no.
Yeah, he's
Locks
No,
in.
Pat Williams had no idea
No idea.
at the time what that was going to become. They got this man driving. Tink, tink, tink. That was cheating.
Paper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy that we all understand that now, and it's like we're allowed to say that. I wanted to say it at the time, and I did say it at the time, and I was considered a bad guy. Like, you don't want this guy to be able to compete with everybody else. Why? Because it's like, will his calf ever cramp? Will there ever be any? It feels like an advantage. You can just tighten those things up. Guys get tired as the meets go on. He was getting fresher somehow. He was getting more bounce in per the ounce than everybody else. And then obviously Cat Williams thought the same exact thing. He said, what we got this guy? And then he, what happened.
Good bit.
That was unbelievable. Cat, there was a time there where Cat was releasing an hour every single year.
Man.
It was.
The Pimp Chronicles.
He's still bringing it in interviews.
Yeah, he's still
as well.
bringing it. Yeah, Cat Williams always going to bring it, it does feel like. Poor little Tink Tink. He's racing F1?
No,
Yeah,
Oscar,
Tink Tink's out. He's out of jail.
Piastri.
No way. How?
Yeah.
Mr.
I believe he's out. I believe I saw somebody's got a girlfriend.
I think he picked the lock with his.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Oh, he escaped?
What's your problem?
Prison break?
How does that work? And there's no way they let him have metal in there, right?
No. He's
Some sort of carbon
sliding
fiber.
around.
What?
He has to. He doesn't have a choice. Those things are weapons. You can't have those in there. You kidding me?
2 wooden planks, maybe?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if they let him do that.
Rest in peace, obviously, to his girlfriend, I believe, fiance. Sure. That whole thing. What a wild scene down there. Okay, joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has more inside information than all. I mean, the thought of whenever he was running, this guy was the hero.
Oh yeah.
Remember, he was like the story of the entire thing.
How did he get around? How did he get around in prison? I can't stop thinking about it.
No, well, it's not about. It's not about.
Take him away. It couldn't.
They had to.
It couldn't. Maybe he's a solitary.
They just didn't give him his running legs. He got like his walking slow legs.
No,
that aren't
those have weapons.
The blades are for racing.
I remember when they told us how bad of people we were. You know, if we didn't agree with what was, like, hey, this guy's a hero. This is, you need to be on board with this entire thing. It's like, I am. I'm thankful that this guy is powering through something, but this does feel like this is a little bit, maybe something. And then
you said that you were out there first.
Early. I was just thinking to myself, like, if somebody came into the NFL and just had one leg to kick, that was, I would not be. I would think, well, that seems to be unfair.
Guy's got a carbon fiber leg.
But then me acting like that's unfair through the life that they've had to, so then you have to take all different angles. And I understand that now at this age, but I thought to myself, wow, that was wild. And then Kat just kind of beautifully illustrating what his life was like before the race even started, what they were doing to him. That really opened my eyes a little bit more. But yeah, I was attacked a little bit.
There's no sign up at all? By the way, he was transferred to a jail for disabled prisoners.
Okay.
Still locked up.
Okay.
I don't know if he's. I hope.
No, he's out. He's out.
But that still doesn't really explain. Like, so did he have wheelchair?
There was moving walkways and stuff.
It sounds like a very high-tech jail.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like. I was on a run there watching all the jail docs.
Oh, yeah?
All of them.
Black Dolphin.
Yeah,
that was scary. That'll really make you act right. The Black Dolphin over there in Russia is really problematic.
Play no games over
You
there.
do not want to go over there.
Yeah.
That's why whenever everything happened with Griner, I mean, it was like so scary. It's like, I don't know if their jails play by the same rules as our jails. And then there was one in like Iceland where, Iceland or Greenland I watched, where they were just kind of leaving for the day. See you tonight.
I saw the same one. Yeah, I saw that.
What?
They're in jail. Yeah. All right, I'm going downtown here and trying to do a lap. I'll be back 8 p.m. Yeah, I'll sleep in here tonight, I guess.
They came back.
Just come on back. Yeah, that was basically just kind of
not a bad deal.
Checking in, checking out every single day. Go down.
Shelter.
Dude, I got to go work. I'm going to go make society better. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go down and I'll come back. Yeah, just checking back in. That was Greenland.
Wow.
And obviously, you've been learning about a lot of jails down with the international stuff. There's some places you don't want to be.
Yeah.
There's some places you don't want to be.
Bolivia.
Obviously, any jail is not a place that you want to go to. As a man that was in one for about 12 hours or so, solitary confinement's a real deal,
Hard
bro.
time.
It's a hard time. Nobody talks about it. Toilet was broke, smelled like shit. It was my fault, for sure. But I was thinking about escape. I was like, how could I Andy Dufresne out of this thing in 12 hours? I couldn't imagine being in there full time. Hope everybody learns their lesson.
That's right.
Hope he's still locked.
Speaking of jail, people are saying J.D. Vance deserves to go to jail for what he did at a national championship.
No.
AJ, what happened? Okay.
All right, they need to design this national championship trophy much better. Why does the top glue that sucker in? I got some super glue. I'll put some super glue in there for you.
Oh, no.
Guy don't watch
It's
ball.
a two-part trophy. You got to let people know it's a two-part trophy.
If you watch ball, you know.
Well, I think
You're right.
I think we know because that thing's been standing right in front of us a few times. J.D. Vance, no. People hoist trophies above their head. He had no idea it came with a nice stand.
Sure.
It's a good stand.
Sheath.
I'll tell you what, I seen this because J.D. Vance, Ohio guy. That's a big part of the story. So Ohio State coming to the White House to celebrate national championship. What number is Trump wearing, AJ?
47. He's the 47th president.
What number were you?
I actually wore that same number about 20 years ago at Ohio State.
What is your birthday?
My birthday? Why is that relevant?
Just tell me what your birthday is after seeing
January 6th is the date I was born.
Okay, so your jersey was given to President Trump. January 6th is your birthday. Really feels like they're trying to make AJ Hawk as happy as he possibly could. When you saw this with J.D. Vance and the boys, what was your first thought?
Well, I actually had multiple people from around here that sent this to me with the 47 jersey, thinking, "Oh, it looks like yours, bud." Like, yeah, that might be a throwback that someone might make and try to wear around now, I guess, with Trump on the back.
I wonder if he'll ask you for your autograph, and I wonder if J.D. Vance has had, say anything about learning about the trophy being a two-parter. two-piecer. I didn't think that was good omen for the next Ohio State Buckeyes. I didn't think that was good omen, personally. I did see that there was a lot of conversation on the internet. Once again, these are things that we do not create but do happen on the internet. We are just observing and reporting things that are taking place on the internet. Ryan Day does not dye his beard. That's a big piece of information.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
100% bullshit. Not true.
That's cap.
That came directly from the Day family. Said, nope, this is how
Nina,
it is.
his wife. Came from Nina.
I don't want to speak ill against Nina.
Oh, Nina said it?
Yep, she did. She said, I'm with him every day. And then the general, Bob Carpenter, came out and said, I see Ryan Day every single day. It is dark every single day.
Wow.
The guy has a great beard. They have a great team. They obviously have a lot of NIL money, and they have a trophy that's been dropped at the White House. I don't think that has happened ever before. Maybe it's a good omen. Maybe this team's unique. Maybe that leads to them going back to back in college football playoffs.
Yeah, the general part, I don't know, because if Nina Day told the general to eat poop, he'd do it. So let's not act as though.
I think Bobby Carpenter would eat poop.
Yeah,
if it was to lock in another national championship.
Without a doubt.
I guess, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you're telling me I eat this poop national championship again?
10-win season.
Okay.
Fuck it.
As long as we beat Michigan, brother.
You'd be drinking. So I don't know about that, but one of the sweet parts of that video is looking at Jack Sawyer. Once JD Vance does drop that trophy, he looks over at President Trump and he says like, "Oh man, AJ Hawk would love this." As soon as it happens, he looks over to say something. So pretty awesome for the Buckeyes.
I saw Jack Sawyer got a shout out during the speech. What a name of a legend. Jack Sawyer threw it all, and then he recalled the play, the strip fumble, strip sack, touchdown. Jack Sawyer sends Ohio State to the national championship. Obviously, the national champions go to the White House. They celebrated yesterday. J.D. Vance gets his hand on that trophy once again.
Yeah.
He needs to figure that whole thing out. So you can get a photo. Ohio guy, he's probably so jacked up about OH.
I.O., they're going to get back to him, obviously.
I owe you a new trophy, is what J.D. Vance said. And it looked like it was a nice gathering. I'm happy to hear that. Football and sports are a wonderful thing. Joining us now is a man who has joined ESPN and has been nothing short of spectacular on linear television at the worldwide leader. Friend of the program, former Emmy winner for Good Morning Football. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yay, Schrager!
How are you, Schrags?
I have so many thoughts. We could start with the Blade Runner, or we can go to. Remember that? That's what they called them.
Yeah, dude.
And then here, I have a quick Jack Sawyer story. I'm at the Combine, and I didn't go to any of the college football games. I watched him play, obviously, and I'm on the field with Sean Payton, who said he had never been on the field during Combine drills, but I was interviewing him for the NFL Network's coverage of the Combine. Mid-defensive drills, mid-drills, Jack Sawyer comes over with the firmest handshake you've ever seen. Mr. Payton, Jack Sawyer, linebacker, Ohio State, good to meet you. I said, okay, I want to draft this guy. What a move. What a move. I'm like, this kid's unbelievable.
He's a
That
dog,
was great.
too, Schrags. He was heralded as the next one, right, whenever he went to Ohio State, AJ, if I have this right?
Yeah, Columbus kid from the area. Yeah, he came in as the man for sure.
And then obviously this play cements Ohio State heading to the national championship right in front of our face. The speed, the wheels, the awareness, the heartbreak for Steve Sarkisian in the Texas Longhorns. Smart play by Jack to go shake Sean Payton's hand, look him right in the eye, and introduce himself. Let's talk about this time of year, Schrags. Feels like there's more question marks in this draft than ever that we have covered. Now, obviously, you've been around the game a lot longer than us. Is that an accurate assessment? I feel like nobody knows what the hell's happening, and then this Derek Carr news gets dropped on us within the last few days and adds a whole nother wrinkle. Are we looking at it the same way as you, Peter?
Makes it a really interesting draft. I wouldn't say it's rich with first, top tier blue chip prospects, but that makes it all the more, I guess, interesting when we get to Thursday. I got to tell you, like, we're talking Shedeur Sanders all day on this network. I don't know where Shedeur Sanders goes. I don't have a certain team raising their hand saying, hey, if Shedeur falls, like, that's our place. And that's a prospect that we're talking about constantly. You go name by name, and really there's only two blue chip prospects across the board when I talk to these GMs, and that's Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, and then Ashton Genty's one of those guys, but you wouldn't draft him likely in the top three. Other than that, it's wide open. And I had a GM tell me, who Jacksonville takes at 5, you could easily see, at 17 or 18. After you get out of those top 3, it's not that it's a drop off. It's that it kind of plateaus, and it's, well, what do you need? What do you want? Who did you like? which makes the draft all the more interesting. Last year, we knew there were quarterback hungry teams. You kind of match with who might go where, and I knew the top 3 was set, 9 days out. We're now 9 days out. Outside of thinking it goes Ward, Carter, Hunter, and some combo in the top 3, Pat, I could tell you with great confidence that I am not alone. Nobody knows where it goes from there. And really, what's so interesting is that after the one quarterback, Cam Ward, you've got a wide open list of possibilities as to the teams that are drafting quarterbacks, where they're drafting quarterbacks, and on what day they're going to end up getting a quarterback.
How many of those quarterbacks are in the conversation? Because Shador was considered the clear-cut number 2 quarterback in this draft class behind Cam Ward. Then Jackson Dart's name seemingly gathered a lot of steam. Now Jalen Milroe allegedly has a private workout with the New York Giants this week as well. I'm a fan because I watched him in a playoff run, even though he had a bad combine, of Will Howard. There's a lot of different potential outcomes for a lot of these different quarterbacks. Are you saying that the teams are viewing it the same way? Is there a set list on who's above where, or it's kind of scattered across the board?
Unlike any other year, it's wide open. And I think the Kenny Pickett year is unfair to these guys because I think this is a better class than that. And that was Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis and what was his name from Cincinnati?
Ritter.
Ritter. That was that draft class, and those guys kind of fizzled out. This year's draft class, like I spoke to a GM who I really trust and is really good, and he's like, well, if you're looking for the best pure thrower of the ball, it's Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. And I'm like, Tyler Shuck, and I'm looking at my list, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm looking at this list here on your board, and there are several other names, and Tyler Shuck's not one of them. Another GM I was talking to over the weekend, as I'm watching the Masters and just texting everybody and on calls about the draft, and he's like, I could easily see Milroe going late first. He's like, that's the kind of deal where you have a starter already, and then you put Milroe in for some subset packages, and then 2-3 years, who knows? Jalen Milroe's your guy, and he's been learning for a year, and of course he can run the ball. He ran a 4.3 40 at his pro day, and he's got an awesome arm, and he's a winner, and he's about it. Like, he is a great leader. The same conversation on Milroe is, well, he was benched against South Florida a year ago, and this is where you're at. So I don't think it's a sure thing that Shador is the second quarterback taken. I would imagine that's what's going to happen. I would assume that's going to happen. I don't see Jackson Dart or Shuck or Milroe going before Shador, but anything can happen with this class. And we could look at 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round. We can look at 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. And that's not me pleading the fifth and being like, I don't want anything on my hands. I am just telling you that is what's being discussed with teams. But different than other years, they're not banging down my door to be like, what are you hearing? Like, do we need to do something to get Shador? It's not like anyone's doing flips over any of these other guys.
Greatest mock drafter in the history of mock drafting. We're talking to Peter Schrager. Obviously has, tip of the cap to you as well, sir. I don't have a hat on, but I would if I could. Has inside conversations with every team. That's why his mock draft is so spectacular. Sounds like question marks and chaos everywhere next Thursday night. Go ahead, AJ.
Shregs, yeah, we're all going to be watching to see what happens with Shador. Have you heard, is there any kind of like basement of where, like, hey, if he gets to this point, someone's definitely going to take him? Is there a number? We've seen if the Steelers find him at 21, they would take him. Like, do you have any idea on what the basement for him could be of where he could go?
No, and here's the thing. He had a really good meeting with Pittsburgh last week, and that lasted like 5 hours. And he met with Arthur Smith. He met with Mike Tomlin. He went around the facility. So, like, that to me seems like a good backstop. Like, at worst comes to worst for Shador, like 21 would be a really nice place for him to go. It would be a really good situation considering the weapons, the organization, the culture, the city, of course, that you guys know so well. But, the Giants are going to this private workout, and Schefter broke that news last night. This is not just window dressing. Here's the deal. The Giants had 13 different people at his pro day. So if you had it wasn't just 2 of them, 13. They had him in for a top 30 visit. Then they took him out to dinner. Joe Shane himself went to multiple Shador Sanders games this year. Joe Shane went to a Shador Sanders practice at Colorado. So this isn't a player they're unfamiliar with. So when you tell me they're going for another private workout, it's more than just due diligence. This is, we are going to make sure if he is our quarterback, we are 100% certain that this is the guy we love. But that doesn't mean he's going 3 to the Giants. What that could mean is the Giants get Abdul Carter out of Penn State, number 3. And then if Shador starts slipping out of the top 10, out of the teens, maybe that's when they pull the trigger and they say, you know what? We really feel comfortable with this guy as our quarterback. We might not want him at 3, but we like him at 15, 16, 17 in that range.
Okay, very fascinating on the quarterback conversation. Shador obviously going to be chatted about because of his family, because of everything he was able to accomplish at 2 different schools, but a lot of tension to 2 different schools. Now he's getting his jersey retired at Colorado. Everybody's real pumped up about it on the internet. Sounds like everybody's excited for him. I will say congrats. Anytime you get your jersey retired, that means something magical had to have happened, and he sold that building out alongside another guy that those Giants people might have been watching at all those games and practices. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yes, his teammate, Travis Hunter, obviously the Heisman winner. What are you hearing about the people you talk to in the know, what position he will primarily play once he gets to the NFL? I know I've heard him say he still wants to play both ways, but what are you hearing as far as once he gets drafted, what position he'll primarily line up at?
There's a difference of opinion. I spoke to one team who said, I put him at wide receiver. He's the number 1 wide receiver in this draft, and he's got unlimited potential, and he is so raw at the position, D-But. They say that this guy, he's just scratching the surface. Like, his route running is not as precise as someone who's been doing it his whole life. And if you were to put him on the board with, like, Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison last year and Rome Odunze, you wouldn't even put him in the same conversation because he's so raw. But you put him with a good wide receivers coach, the instincts, the size, the hands, he could do it. And then you go over the defensive side of it, and he is by far, bar none, the best defensive back in this draft. However, can you at number 2 justify, I'm going to put him on the field at both positions? I'm going to have him as our number 1 or 2 wide receiver and then also have him play defensive back. You can if you draft him 2nd overall. This guy played 120 snaps a game last year. I mean, insane stuff. I worked with Charles Woodson for years at Fox. Woodson was the last Heisman Trophy winner who did it from a defensive position. Yep. Charles Woodson was considered this two-way player, the special teams demon. Charles was like, I played 30 snaps, the season. Like, it wasn't the same thing. This guy's doing stuff that is unprecedented. The last time we had a true two-way player at those positions was Roy Green in the 1981 St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, he was a dog.
He was a dog, but he came in and played that after years of safety, moved to wide receiver. We've never had a prospect coming out. So I honestly feel that there is a chance that he, in week 1 of the NFL season, can play both defensive back and be your number 1 corner and be your number 1 or number 2 wide receiver. And that is a legitimate possibility. That is how spectacular and rare this prospect is. Oh, and by the way, great freaking kid. Everyone says when they meet him, he's about the right stuff. He is everything you want in a prospect. Home run.
Okay, so we heard originally, I think it was Schefter said that the Browns are taking a quarterback at number 2. Mm-hmm. Browns are taking a quarterback at number 2. That was like a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever it was, before all the draft cycle kind of takes place, before all the meetings and everything. Now it's almost like if Travis Hunter's available and your team doesn't take him, you're an idiot. Is that kind of the view in Cleveland? And then if that is the case, Flacco's his quarterback in Cleveland with Travis Hunter, or does that lead to the Kirk Cousins move that everybody kind of is assuming is going to take place from Atlanta to Cleveland?
Well, let's put Travis Hunter in Cleveland now. If we were to pencil him in, and you say, "Oh, Joe Flacco," and we could have our thoughts about Flacco.
I love Joe Flacco. It did not work in Indianapolis, but I love Joe Flacco. I have his cleats here.
There you go.
I even have Joe Flacco's cleats here. They move. They move with it, rock with it, lean with it, with the grass. Okay, Flacco wasn't great with the Colts. But with the Browns,
not great with the Colts. Guess what? He wasn't good with the Jets. He wasn't good with the Broncos.
He didn't get an opportunity.
The one place that
he was great with the Browns. Took him to the playoffs.
Whoa. He was great. He was great with the Browns. And he was great with Stefanski. And if you tell me that you have Flacco throwing the ball 40 times a game deep, and he's throwing it to Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku, you could compete. You could play. That said, you're not tied to Flacco. You're not tied to Pickett in that you could take Hunter at 2, and you could trade back into the first round with this draft. I'm telling you, there are not these home run plays where like, I will not move out of 11 or I will not move out of 12. It's not like that this year. There is a lot of parity when you're talking about after prospect 4 to prospect 30, and you could justify any of them. So if you need a quarterback and you really like Shador Sanders and you're Cleveland, you could probably get both of them. You could do what Houston did and not have to give up the farm to do it, but you could take your number 1 defensive player and your number 1 offensive player, and you can get both of them in this draft. I think back to the Lamar Jackson draft. It's almost ancient history now, but they took Hayden Hurst with a pick 22nd overall. They took a tight end. And then DaCosta moved up, and then they went up and they got Lamar at 32nd because they saw a window to go get this guy. That could be Cleveland, where they're like, we have our quarterback. We could compete with Flacco or Pickett. We could compete. We could get it. We could. I don't know if they're going to win anything. They could put a football team on the field. If you want to worry about quarterback and you don't have to take one at 2. And I think where Adam was in the beginning of the month, it was like they're going to probably get a rookie quarterback at some point. Since then, things have changed. Joe Flacco is signed, and also I think the quarterback class is not viewed as one of those where you need to take the guy at 2.
Okay, on that note, when you're talking about moving back in with a couple different teams, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, in terms of trades as a whole, Schrags, what are you hearing? Like, how active do you think we're going to be? Field, Yates, and Mel Kiper in their most recent mock draft had the Browns trading back up to 29 to get Jackson Dart. We heard Dan Morgan say today, like, hey, listen, we're open for business. We're listening to calls if anyone wants to come up. And then in Field and Mel's mock draft, they've had a bunch of different other trades mocked. Do you think that's just like for the fun of it, or are you expecting there to be quite a bit of action on draft night?
When we were in Vegas that year for the draft, I think there was like 15 trades in the first round. I asked a head coach, I said, what are you hearing? Do you think it's going to be one of those? And he said, this is the stick and pick draft. I go, okay, well, that's not as exciting. He's like, I don't see the prospects where people are going to be jockeying in the first round to go up and get players. The quarterback position makes it interesting. So there are those sweet spots, right? New Orleans, obviously, if Derek Carr is not going to be there, there's a need at quarterback, unless you're going to just roll out Rattler and say, we'll roll the dice and then maybe get Arch Manning next year, which who knows, could be a possibility. But 9 seems like a spot, a pressure point for that. And of course, the Steelers or the Giants or the Browns could be teams that are maneuvering to move up and make that pick. I look across this list of logos though, and like I don't see the Raiders taking a quarterback. They signed Geno to an extension. It's like they're not picking him to only have him there for 1 year. And you go across the board, it seems like everyone's pretty much spoken for. So Steelers, Browns, Saints, and I would put in I would probably say the Jets are a possibility to get back in the first round if they're desperate to get a quarterback or they want to have one in addition to Justin Fields. That's kind of what you're looking at. And to me, there's not enough burning hot desire to move up to get one of these quarterbacks where we're going to see a ton of jockeying to do so.
Okay, you mentioned a team there, the Raiders. One player has been mocked to that team basically since the beginning. He will be joining us here in a matter of a few moments. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Strays, you said Ashton Jinty's one of the 3, blue chip players. Do you see him going then, to the Raiders at 6? Do you see him dropping at all? Or do you think he is one of those guys that you can kind of bank on going in that top 10, top 7 area just because of how nasty he is?
I would start with 5 at Jacksonville, and I would say Liam Cohen comes in here, and Liam Cohen is an offensive guy.
4.
And they have at 4 at the Patriots could be a possibility, especially if Josh wants to get the offense going. Like it could go that high. And then you just look at the classic argument of, do you want your defensive tackle of the future? Do you want your offensive line of the future? Or do you want this stud running back? It's an age-old debate. Where do you draft the running back? When do you draft the running back? I'll tell you this. The last 2 running backs to go in those early picks were Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think those guys worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, and you look at it, Bucky Irving led the all rookies in rushing last year. It was a 4th round pick. Tyrone Tracy led was second in rushing. He was a 4th round pick. So it's a question of appetite, but this guy is special. He's everything anyone could have wanted in a running back. It's just the fit and whether or not that team needs to add a running back and wants to add a running back over other positions.
You talk about the rookie running backs doing well. I'll just tell you, Saquon Barkley was the top pick, and he did A-okay with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And is the run game becoming much more prevalent because of what the Eagles did? I would say yes. Excited to see what Genty is able to do. Excited to chat with him here in a few moments. Last question for you, Shregs, here from AP Tone.
Yeah, Shregs, I want to talk to you about the big news this morning on Jalen Ramsey. Chris Greer just said that the team, confirmed that they decided to part ways. Ramsey did not request a trade, but the decision was made in the best interest of all parties. And then on top of that, they asked him if Tyreek Hill could also be traded, and he said, "That is not anything we're pursuing. Who knows? If someone wants to come and give me 2 first-round picks, we'll consider it." So I'll just let you comment on what's going on down in Miami.
A few off seasons ago, we were talking about the Dolphins as a Super Bowl contender and a team that right there away from the chip. And now it seems like that same group that they brought in, a lot of those veterans, Tyreek and Jalen Ramsey and, Chubb and all these guys, it's like, all right, well, we missed that window maybe. Jalen Ramsey is still due $21 million from whatever team ends up trading for him because the Dolphins paid him his $4 million guarantee. Like, that's a big price tag for a guy who is very accomplished, but is also, probably on the latter 9 holes of his career, I would imagine. So fascinating to see what the market is for a Jalen Ramsey and what team is willing to pay him that money, because I would imagine they'd want to restructure that deal.
Who do you think he ends up with, buddy?
Oh, I don't have a team yet. And that's the thing. It's like these veteran guys are, hey, I'm looking to, view a trade, and these teams dangle these names out there. I watched Cooper Kupp, be dangled and then not be traded and end up going to Seattle as a free agent. Like, these things happen in the league, and veteran players like Ramsey, they deserve better, but this is how it goes sometimes. And, you turn that corner at 30 and all of a sudden you think everyone views you in one way, or we do view you in one way. And then that number comes creeping in, and suddenly you feel like, oh my gosh, it's pretty humbling. And it could be a bitter pill sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he wants to come to the Colts, we'll certainly have him.
No doubt. He still could play.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Pat, can I say something real quick? Yesterday I'm watching on my phone all these very esteemed, famous women go to space, and I'm thinking to myself, laughing, can your crew go to space?
No.
Can we get this group to space?
You ever read
Now,
what
I know.
Bill Shatner said?
Yeah, those ladies have a lot more courage than we do, bub. I will tell you that.
You wouldn't go?
No. What are you talking about? I need to see that thing at
We
least
can pretend like we did.
100, 150 times.
What do you
I need to see success on a regular basis. That's why the courage it takes to sign up for that, I think, next level. I don't know if we have it, Shregs. You would go, it sounds like.
No, hell no, I can't. I mean, my feet, I don't skydive. I don't go on roller coasters. I am a complete you-know-what when it comes to that stuff. But you guys seem like you do anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's a couple words started in my head.
What was the group that went yesterday?
Women.
Gail King, Katy Perry.
Bezos' wife.
Lauren Sanchez.
Is her name? She led the group.
A lot of women were not happy. You saw Emrat. I love Emily Ratajkowski. She came out. She was not happy.
I did not know who you were talking to, but I do know Emily Ratajkowski, the name.
Olivia
I didn't
Wilde.
like it. Thought it wasn't good for the environment.
I mean, did you guys watch the video of the spaceship going up into space?
Yeah.
Because it didn't look real to me.
Okay. All right. Not getting into that.
I'm just saying.
We appreciate you so much, Shregs. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate you doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Shregs. Thanks, Shregs. What's his problem?
No, I'm serious.
Shregs knew exactly what he was doing.
I'm with him on that one. I saw the video as well.
agree.
Boy, it looked.
I saw Katie floating, I thought, on a video. I was on a plane for a lot of the day yesterday. So.
Yeah, we can't CGI that.
Okay, we're not doing this with everything. Congrats to them going to space.
Maybe.
I didn't expect that from you, Ty.
Well,
I didn't expect.
yeah, I mean, we're talking NASA here. We're not talking about Bezos' little Mickey Mouse penis-shaped thing that he just set up.
You think that's Mickey Mouse?
I do think it's Mickey Mouse. Like you said, 100 to 150 times. I need to see that thing go up in space 100 million times before I'd get inside there. Did you see Bezos when he was coming to open the hatch, walk in that crater that it landed on? It. I mean, it just. Oh man, he took a header. It was. That thing just comes down in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you see Katy Perry kiss the dirt like Jesus Christ. I thought we were dead up there.
Amen. Yeah. I understand. That's why what you're saying. I don't think I saw the reaction afterwards. There was a real thank God we're back and everything like that, which I'm very appreciative. But the courage it takes to go,
oh my God,
is something that I do not have. I've been skydiving before. Did it one time. Cool. We're checking the box.
Same.
We are good with fighting gravity. Okay, we are done with that. I am a land animal, which I think is what Schrager was going to say. I'm a big, you know what? I think he was going to say land animal.
Yep, that was it.
I honestly had no idea, but they kiss the ground. Yeah, it's called a work, brother. They're trying. They gotta sell it, man. They gotta let you know, like, boy, it was really, really scary out there. But to Ty's point, it is Mickey Mouse because NASA actually changed the rules after all these people were like, let's go to space because you get your pin or whatever. And NASA was like, okay, now we have to change it because it's not just going to space anymore. And all these people are doing it for fun.
What was the Red Bull guy? That passed
Felix Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah. Now that guy went. Yeah. I don't want to hear shit about Baumgartner.
He went a balloon.
Now that's real. That's a hero. Okay.
He passed out on the way up.
Oh yeah, tumbling
Yeah.
head over feet.
Million
He
miles
was
an
just
hour.
going to go. He was gone.
Yeah.
He was going to be with those cars, that Tesla cars that are just floating around. He was going to be
for
called
the moon.
space junk.
Yeah.
He was going to be because he passed out. Do you remember this? We were watching it live.
Yeah.
Watch this guy live. He's going to attempt the biggest base jump in the history of the world.
I gotta see that.
And is that guy out? That guy's out.
He was doing 30 G's coming down and passed out.
He fell out. No, he passed out on the way up.
Oh, was?
I think he passed out on the way up, and then he fell out of the thing. They kind of fell out.
Quick push him.
He was spinning
So fast.
1,000 miles an hour, maybe. This
Heat
guy
coming off.
He was in a spacesuit. He had a Red Bull spacesuit on. He was in this little rocket thing that was like going up, and he was going to do the highest base jump. I think is what it was. Jesus Christ, I remember this.
It's like out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, and he is past the point of where he was supposed to be. We think he's potentially out. Like people were like scared this guy never going to leave, and then somehow he ends up out of the thing, and it's just a full on.
Yeah.
Waking up in the middle of that shit.
Falling through the atmosphere, through the different ozones, and then I don't know when he came back to it. He had to be so sick. Oh my god!
Splat.
No, he did not. He survived. Congrats, Felix. Proud of you, Felix.
Felix.
But yeah, that one cemented home we're not going up there.
No.
Okay. Wow. We're not going up there. It's crazy how much like water is like space, seemingly. You know. Mm-hmm. I watched a guy break an egg underwater. Did you see this? It was a video that hit my algorithm. No. And the yolk and the egg just kind of floated there, just like you would think whenever it was space there. I don't like being in the water. I don't want to be in space.
What are you more scared of?
Personally?
Yeah.
Never been in space, so I'm okay with not being scared of it. Water scares the shit out of me, though. I don't like the.
Really? You're more scared, dude?
I've never been in space. You can just sign up not to go. Water, you can fuck around and just fall from the sky. It's going to start happening. Like space ain't just going to start falling from the sky. Maybe. That is a fear. Every once in a while, there'll be a new tweet, too. It's like, did you know that within a light year of Earth, a asteroid flew by that we did not know was coming? It's okay. It's past us now. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I've seen a lot of movies that have that thing in there. I hope we have a nice little shield.
We do. Of junk. It's a junk shield. I for some reason last night while I was in bed, pictured myself in space because I was looking at all this stuff and I was seeing a bunch of tweets like that. Boy, I was so scared.
William Shatner said,
yeah,
don't ever go.
Yeah.
It completely changed my life for the worse.
Don't think about going up there.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing.
You look up there and you say, we're alive. This is all for naught. Get me back down to the lonely ass planet Earth. Mm-hmm. That's what he said when he came back.
Oh yeah.
Katy Perry had a pretty emotional response whenever she came back. I'd assume it's crazy whenever you go up there.
Well, they did it.
Thank God. All right. Joining us now is a guy that's on a one-way trip to space.
Rocket ship.
Boom.
He's been on a rocket ship for the last few years. We've obviously just learned about him over the last 2 years. I'd assume throughout high school, throughout Little League, throughout junior high, this guy was untackleable. He won every single award, Maxwell, Doak Walker, and the Earl Campbell. He was a runner-up for the Heisman. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Boise State, running back, stud, Ashton Jeanty. Ashton, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's say you get drafted top 6 to the Raiders like everybody has you mocked, and the general manager of the Raiders said that his kid has told him that if he doesn't draft you, he's going to disown his entire family. You get a bunch of money. They offer you to go to space. You go to space or you staying on ground?
I'm staying on ground, man. I ain't going to no space.
Yeah, smart.
Me too, yeah. You've dominated this earth, too. The way you chew up ground is better than anybody else. I couldn't imagine him in space. Oh my God. Genty, maybe something to think about as you get older. Hembo sent me some stats here about you while we've been chit-chatting, and I'm going to rattle them off, and then I'm going to get into asking you some questions about your game, if you don't mind. Including the playoffs, Saquon Barkley scored 7 60-yard touchdowns this season. No other player had more than 4. No other running back had more than 2. Okay, that's Saquon Barkley in the NFL. Ashton Jeanty rushed for 29 touchdowns last season, the average of which was 28 yards. He had 5 of them for 70-plus yards. 8 of them for 60-plus yards. 10 of them for 50-plus yards. Jeanty also forced 126 missed tackles, 38 evaded, 88 broken, most in America. First of all, Ashton, hell of a fucking season, buddy. Yeah. Hell of a season out there.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Let's talk about what the game has become. Obviously, for Boise State, you were their go-to player, the key player, the running back. The NFL is also becoming that. What has the conversations with the NFL teams been like for you in more of a focus on the run game type kind of evolution of the game we're kind of experiencing, Ashton?
Yeah, I mean, the conversations have been great. I mean, especially you see what Saquon was able to do and, bringing his team all the way to the Super Bowl. But a lot of teams have a need for a running back, a workhorse that you can, take most of the load throughout the game and, wear defenses down. And, they're seeing real value in that from the running back position now.
How have the conversations been going? Has everybody talked about, hey, obviously you played every down. You got the ball damn near every single down. What have the teams been asking you about other than your explosion? Have they been asking you about protection? Have they been asking you about wear and tear? What has the convo been like going into the draft for you?
Yeah, I mean, those are the main things besides the running ability. Their main thing right now is, can you pass protect? Will you protect the quarterback? Because that's a big deal. Are you a 3-down back? But also being able to, catch the ball, run routes, and just be a all-around complete back.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, when you were, getting ready for the combine in your pro day, we know everyone works on these drills. These are specific drills you'll be doing. But other than that, I guess what have you been doing to try to, step your game up to the next level once you do get to the league? I'm sure every coach, like we said, will talk about your pass pro, and you have to learn how to pass pro. But if you watch your tape, we know you're not scared to stick your head in there and shut down any kind of blitzers. But what do you think you need to do, I guess, to separate yourself for your rookie year?
Yeah, I think it's attention to detail once you get to the NFL. I mean, everybody knows exactly what's happening when it's happening. So just understanding defensive structures better, understanding what we're doing as an offense, what the O-line is doing, the receivers, the tight ends, understanding it all so that I'm a step ahead of everybody when the ball snaps.
Chuck Pagano is a friend of the program. Obviously, he is a friend of the Boise program as well. He lives out there. Now he's coaching for Baltimore. He has sang your praises for years. Ty has a question.
Yeah, Ashton, what was it about Boise State that made you want to stay? Because with the way NIL is right now, I assume a couple years ago, you could have went and played in the Big Ten. You could have went and played in the SEC. You could have played wherever you wanted to. And obviously, Boise State, you guys made it to the playoff, this year. Everyone knows the Smurf turf and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to work out for you. But why did you ultimately decide to stay at Boise State?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I wanted was, to develop into a great running back and, have a chance to play on the next level. I had a great group of coaches around me, great group of players around me. So, that remained consistent, but also the hiring of Coach Danielson. So he was the interim head coach my sophomore year. And, once they hired him, I knew for sure, he was a perfect guy. And just the relationship that I had with him already, I mean, I knew that he was going to, give me the keys and, let me do my thing as a leader, as a player, as a running back. And we also had a chance to, make history with the new playoff landscape and make the college football playoffs.
You guys gave Oregon all they could handle week 2 or week 3, and everybody's like, Oregon's not a team. Oregon's bad this year. Little did they know, Boise State was a monster, and the running back was outrageous. You were phenomenal to watch all season. Thank you for the excitement every single week. D-Bud has a question for you.
Yeah, Ashton, I got a question. I guess coming up, what backs did you want to really model your game after? What backs did you admire? And more specifically, your stance, too. You got a very unique stance when you're standing behind the quarterback in the backfield, very upright. So I guess what backs did you model your game after, and where did that stance come in, and where did you start with, and obviously you stuck with it, and it has paid off so far?
Yeah, so probably the first running back I really, paid attention to and watched was Marshawn Lynch. I just loved his, physicality, his running style, those beast mode runs. And then, more recently, as I got older, watching Derrick Henry, I just love the stiff arm, even though I'm not as big as him, but, that's a great tool to have in your bag. Alvin Kamara is a comparison I get a lot, so that contact balance, love watching him and what he does in the receiving game as well. But I just try to take little things from, all the greats. And the stance, man, the stance always something that I did, but, I always had a coach telling me that I couldn't stand like that. But this past year, I mean, like I said, Coach D and my running back coach Montgomery, they said do your thing, and as long as you're being efficient out there and making plays, there's no problem with the way you stand.
Yeah, you look like a punter back there, and then you get the rock, and you're going for 70 every single time you touch it. What an offense! What a player you were. Legitimately in college ball, you'll be remembered forever as one of the greats, which is spectacular. Have you always been built the way that we saw you at the pro day? Because obviously you won tarps off at the pro day. You said I'm not as big as Derrick Henry. I think you're pretty jocked, lad. Has this always been the way you've built? Have you put on weight for the NFL, or is this standard Ashton Genty?
No, that's pretty much how I've always been built. I mean, I started lifting in the 6th grade with my older brother. He taught me really how to lift, and I mean, it's paid off, so I had to take the top off and show everybody what I'm working with.
A smart play. Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, we saw it, and we all, holy shit, look at this guy. Let's give him the ball. Connor has a question for you, Ashton.
Yeah, Ashton, speaking of training, have you been able to train with any guys that are, currently in the NFL or were in the NFL? And then aside from the training, when you were doing meetings with teams and things of that nature, did you get any, kind of off-the-wall question? Nick Sirianni has told us he used to play like rocks, paper, scissors in the meetings with guys and prospects. Did you do any of that during your kind of entire process during this break?
Yeah. So, sorry. Can you say your question again?
He said, "Have you trained with any NFL guys?" And then he said, "Did you get any?" Yeah, he's in a bad.
That was a little long-winded question.
Yeah, he's uncomfortable. Yeah, he's a little uncomfortable. Have you trained with any NFL guys? And did you get any weird questions from any of these NFLs?
Nah, so I haven't really got to train with any NFL guys. I kind of been on my own, just trying to get right, and then. I mean, we're flying around so much and doing so many different things. You got to find creative ways to, get it in. I actually was just working out running hills earlier, and I didn't really get any crazy questions, surprisingly. But I on my 30-day visit with the Raiders, they had us playing golf at Top Golf, but I know they were scouting to see who had a good swing or not. I know they were.
How's your game?
It's all right. It needs a little bit of work.
So I think was there a group of you there at the top 30 visit for the Raiders?
Yeah, it was a group of us.
Okay, so I think they're trying to see how you interact with people probably, right? And everybody that has ever talked about you said like perfect teammate, great teammate. It feels like that's something you take a lot of pride in, yes, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, relationships are important, especially, with those guys that you're going to battle with on the field.
We shit talk during Top Golf, or are we quiet? Do you talk on the field, or are you quiet?
It depends. It depends on who I'm playing. Like if somebody who talks trash mode, then I'm gonna talk back to them. But golf, I'm not talking trash because I'm not good.
All right, it's my turn to hit. Great. Let me get this out of the way, and then you guys kind of do your thing. Excited to watch. Cheer you guys on. Do your thing.
Good move by the Raiders, though. Worked out for the Commanders.
Yes, it certainly did. But Jaden, they did that last year with the group visit. Yeah. They did the Top Golf thing and had everybody chit chat.
And from the reports, he wasn't that great either. So.
At golf.
Did you make solid content? Did you embarrass yourself out there, or did we make at least some solid content?
No, I was making some contact for sure.
Okay, yeah. You dropped down the draft board quick. Yeah. Fall into the net, do the whole thing.
Yeah, you're done.
Oh, you're fucking out of there. Yeah.
You're out of there.
All right, let's talk more about those visits. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Ashton, you talked about the top 30 with the Raiders. A couple years ago when Jalen Carter was coming out, we had agent Drew Rosenhaus on, and he said, I'm not sending him on any top 30 visits to any team that's picking outside of the top 10. How did you approach that this season? Have you visited anyone outside the top 10, or was it a similar approach where you're like, I don't think I'm going later than that, so why would I take that visit?
I mean, it's been a similar approach, mainly with teams that are, interested in me, and, only one's been outside of the top 10, but, there's a possibility, as a running back, falling out of the top 10. Even the fact that I'm projected to go in the top 10 is, great for the position. But I think it was most importantly meeting with the teams who are interested and, really have a need for the running back position.
Are you doing football training now? All the combine stuff kind of behind you? We're not worried about all the, I don't want to say track drills, but are we back into full football training? Do you feel like you're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely back into full football training. I mean, yeah, the track, the underwear Olympics is behind me.
Well, congratulations. Your college career is behind you as well, and it'll be one that is chit-chatted about forever. Truly miraculous accomplishments for the Boise State squad, and we can't wait to see where you end up on draft night. Good luck, and thank you for the time.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Are you going shirtless at the draft, too?
Oh, you should.
I just might.
Yeah, you should. You should take the professional wrestler thing, too, and kind of oil up.
Yep. Yeah.
Oil up. Yeah. Dude,
Oil up?
Oil up. You got oil up. Kind of let that thing go, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashton Genty. Thank you, Ashton. Yeah, he's stacked.
Hug Raj all oiled up too. Raj's suit's messed up the rest of the night.
Just walking out. What up, Raj? How you doing? You say you started listening in 6th grade?
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are just built a little different. 6th grade, he said his older brother started teaching him how to start stacking muscle on top of each other. And then all of a sudden he gets to junior high football, and I see other people like, this guy's untackleable. What the hell's going on? Then high school, same exact thing. Goes to Boise, and he said his sophomore year, coach was the interim coach. He gets the head job or whatever. Chuck said he was the best player in football for numerous years at Boise State, just nobody really knew because it was Boise. So they love him in that community. He's beloved by his teammates and his coaches, and obviously college football is very thankful for everything he did last year. Can't wait to see where he ends up, AJ. That's like teammate. Everybody talks about him as a teammate, number one, as opposed to also being incredibly elusive and incredibly impossible to tackle.
I mean, listen to him speak, and you know, like, yeah, this guy, he kind of has his priorities straight. It feels like when you listen to him, but also look at 5'9", 215 pounds. The dude's all muscle. Like, I know from experience of attempting to tackle guys like this, it's impossible. Like when their legs are gigantic, their upper body's so strong, they got that low center of gravity. Yeah, good luck. You're going to try to take him low, and you're going to knock yourself out. Your head's going to hit his knee, and you're dead.
And
Scariest build.
And he has breakaway.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You know, if he gets through the second, third level, it's gone.
Yeah.
He's a home run hitter. 70-plus yard touchdowns, 60. Yeah. Obviously, his numbers are absurd.
His vision's awesome.
He's chasing a record we thought was untouchable. The Barry Sanders record. He was actually had a chance.
Was in it.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of in it, we'll be back tomorrow. We can't thank you enough. See you then. Goodbye. That came up pretty quickly there.
Mm-hmm.
The double zeros.
Mm-hmm.
That came up real fast.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it off. Got the shot off on time.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Count it.
Somebody's just Geno Smith just doing this.
Oh.
Everybody's basically said he's going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially from that area. You know, I'm not saying Idaho is
close enough,
but it is in that area. You know, like the Broncos have a lot of contingency in those states over there, Idaho, Dakotas, Montana, you name it. Vegas as well in that area. You know, I assume a lot of fans of Ashton Genty in Las Vegas already, you know, and obviously everybody knows about him. And the fact that the GM's kid is like, we're taking this one, right? Not that matters. We saw Joe Shane.
True.
You know, turn his kids' opinions down.
You know,
Shut
shit.
up, son.
Yeah. I wouldn't sleep on the Patriots either. The Patriots have talked about taking best available, and like to what Traeger said, if the thought really is there are 3 blue chip players, and Genty is one of those guys. Mike Vrabel, whose team, I mean, the Titans. Granted, he's only been the head coach of one team, but you know the Titans were obviously a running football team, and you know best way to help Drake May would be a nice little run game. I wouldn't sleep on them at 4 either.
And I don't like, you know, putting this out in the universe because if anything happens, it's football. It can happen. Very durable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Played a lot of football.
Yeah.
You know, and that is a great ability as a running back is availability, and he has been there for Boise State.
Absolutely. And it used to be a knock on guys that had a bunch of, you know, tread on the tire per se, but so some guys would like to split carries like Henderson and Junkins did, and you draft them, you expect them to be fresh, but, you know, we drafted Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin. He had a ton of carries in college and has been pretty healthy. He's had some years that he's been banged up and been pretty healthy, especially early on throughout his career. So I don't think that would be a knock on Ashley. He's been healthy, and he showed that he can carry it. He's a workhorse.
Jonathan Taylor, whenever he's going, is awesome.
Yeah.
He is explosive. He gets out there, and you start seeing shades of what we saw in college for the Colts. It's like, ooh, that is the guy. I assume the same thing with Genty. You know, football is football, and it feels like whenever you can run the rock, you can run, especially if you're speed. If he would have ran a 4.8 or something like that, then you're worried. But when the speed matches with the film, it's like, oh, that guy's going to be able to play. he's going to be able to play in the men's league. But you see,
you see the breakaways. So
it's like his speed, I think, is very apparent.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think whenever you match that with the ability to see holes and find holes, it's like, I think he's going to be a men's league guy. I think immediately.
Some guys can just handle like the carries too. Like Josh Jacobs, like led the NFL in carries for several years, and then when he became a free agent, a lot of people thought like, oh, he might take a step down. He had one of the best years of his career with the Packers, and was getting just as many carries. Same thing with Henry. Like you look at how big Genty is. Like obviously a freak injury could happen, but I don't think you look at how many carries he got in college, and like that's not a deterrent at all.
Yeah.
AJ, what are they saying? They're saying Henderson is the number 2 guy, or Judkins is the number 2 guy. Who's the
Amari? I don't know. Out of UNC.
Yeah, that's interesting because
he's getting mocked in the first round of the Broncos.
I saw
some Bears too.
What I seen Judkins do.
Monster.
Oh yeah.
I think Henderson.
I mean,
they're gonna do
Scatterboo.
Scatterboo.
This
what he's gonna do.
This running back class is Caleb Johnson
yeah.
out of Iowa, the guy from VTech.
There's multiple teams though that won't take a running back in the first round, right? Aren't there some teams that they just won't do it?
I don't know. He mentioned that if he goes in the top 10, it's good for the running back position. And obviously, a couple years ago, we had the entire running back almost holdout, like union. The running back's almost like unionized. Saquon was a part of that. Josh Jacobs, I think, was a part of that. Nick Chubb. Jonathan Taylor was a part of it. Now, everybody else took a deal. Jonathan Taylor remained, steady on the mission, and I appreciate him doing that and taking a stand. Saquon ended up taking a deal and then ends up going to the Eagles and gets signed to big money. Obviously has the year that he has. Hopefully Christian McCaffrey's back.
Hope so.
For the San Francisco 49ers because he was paid a lot of money. It's like we're getting into a time now where it feels, and we are, once again, just doofuses who watch the sport. It feels like this one, especially if the champions are doing it.
Yep.
Monkey see, monkey do league. Okay, copycat league they talk about. Champions, this is what a coach is saying to a scouting department. Did you see what the Philadelphia Eagles did? They had Jalen Hurts go like this, right here. You see this? Boom. And then Saquon ran. And then they did what? Boom. Then they did, Boom. Life is a lot easier for everybody if we can run the fucking football. You got defense coordinators out there going, can we run the football? Just kind of eat up some clock. Now that the champions did it, other people will feel empowered to maybe follow suit. We think that we are in the middle of the evolution, this cyclicality of football back to becoming a more physical running style of football. And I think Saquon Barkley is at the front of it. And I think Ashton Genty and the boys are going to benefit from that in the draft. Genuinely, I think that.
Yeah, and it's kind of already, I mean, that's all the positive stuff. It's almost causing problems now with other teams, like the James Cook in Buffalo. Buffalo's paid everybody, and James Cook after the Saquon deal, he views himself, which he is, he's a great player, but because these quarterback contracts are so high and the wide receivers are so high, now that running backs are kind of stepping back into that, like, hey, we are a huge part of this entire thing. Like, you wonder what is going to happen with the salary cap, because we've talked about the quarterback being its own thing for so long, or a percentage of it going only to quarterback. But like, how high can those numbers get between a Hurts and a Saquon and an AJ Brown? I know you can just figure it out no matter what, but it's just crazy how some teams are able to and some don't.
I love that Haslam paid Myles Garrett $47 million.
Yeah, bingo.
I love
exactly.
He's just staring over at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't.
You got any money over there? I didn't think so. Broke bitches. That's what Haslam said to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He said, so our guy and the Steelers guy is up. Wouldn't it be nice if that guy wasn't on the Steelers anymore? How do we do that? Let's run the tab up. Let's run the tab up.
Perfect.
$40 million for a pass rusher. People are going to call us crazy. But you know what those people are also going to say? Steelers aren't going to be able to do that. Not for TJ Watt. So TJ maybe gets out of our division. Maybe TJ gets out of our hair. That Myles Garrett deal, gigantic, obviously. And we still got Micah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Micah's still kind of waiting to see what happens. But the TJ stuff with Pittsburgh, TJ is the Pittsburgh Steelers in my eyes. He's the last one introduced. Okay, whenever the defense is introed. Place goes crazy. Them with TJ, much better than them without TJ.
Yep.
When TJ's playing, they win. When TJ's not playing, they lose. So when Myles signs for 40, I think TJ's people will probably go, whoa. Didn't know that was possible. Yeah, I guess that's the market now, and that's how it's going to be. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, We're trying to win, brother. We can't put 40 in a pass rusher at this moment. Now, granted, the Steelers were able to pay a quarterback $1 million last year.
True.
Okay, so they were able to save some money in other departments. But T.J. Watt not getting a Pittsburgh Steelers deal done at this moment feels like could be reality when just a few weeks ago, maybe a week ago, didn't seem like it was a possibility at all. I thought T.J. was lifelong Steeler.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it now, and how do the Pittsburgh Steelers fans feel about it?
I've seen some mixed reviews on it.
Which Steelers fans will have.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, I think it's 50-50 right now whether
Some people are saying don't pay him.
I'd say 50-50 on pay him or trade him.
We ain't paying one guy $40 million to get the quarterback.
I didn't know that.
Bingo.
I didn't realize that.
Actually, what they say is, oh, okay, how many? It's not me, by the way.
Oh, okay. It sounds like this is going to be very offensive.
How many playoff wins does TJ have? We can win with him. We can lose with him. We can lose without him.
Yeah, and that's classic Pittsburgh. I mean, obviously, that is classic Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will ride with you, but as soon as they feel like a little bit disrespected or something like that, it's like,
hey, fuck this guy.
Yeah, that's exactly. And
Exactly.
Coach T says volunteers, not hostages, and we could pay him $40 million, but do they want to pay him $40 million is the big question. And what would the haul be if you were to trade T.J. Watt on draft day? Could you move up and get a quarterback or
in the third?
Sorry, what?
Maybe in the third round.
What are you talking?
I don't know.
And this is just another one of those guys that's going to go for not as much as we think because you have to pay him.
Oh, we're going to be so bummed out about it?
DK Metcalf.
There's going to be 31 teams. There are 30 teams, I guess, because the Steelers count as one of them. And then the team that trades for TJ, they're going to go, we couldn't give up a 5th-round pick for TJ Watt?
Bingo.
We couldn't get it. Well, also, you got to pay him $40 million.
DK went for 6
a year in this entire thing. DK, we thought
26.
Want to go for first. He signs for $30 million immediately upon joining the Pittsburgh Steelers, which
That doesn't
DJ
help.
probably goes.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this guy's done a lot here, huh?
Well, he scores touchdowns
for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Puts the ball in the end zone.
TJ keeps it out.
TJ does too, brother.
Well,
that punch against the Raiders.
I just hit me about DK making $30 million by the Pittsburgh Steelers while TJ's in the middle of negotiating.
Yeah.
Just going.
Haven't taken a snap.
That's fine. If TJ wants
For
to
the
make
Steelers.
30, that's fine. Pay him 30.
I'm not
If he
saying.
wants what DK wants, go ahead.
Give him. Take it.
Feels like 30 is the right number.
But the report is he wants
40.
40. I
More.
mean, shit, that's all you would expect to only go up with.
He wants
Hutch,
more than Myles Garrett.
That's kind of a hometown discount. Even
Will
40.
Anderson.
Yeah, make it 45.
Yeah, why not $50 million, especially if he's going to be able to do what we think he's going to be able to do.
Yeah. What number does he come out of the tunnel?
Last.
52.
We find a new last.
Okay. Well, I think they only introduced 11 there. I thought you were going to say.
No, I'm saying 52 million.
Okay, yeah, but I understand what you're saying but he's not the last person on the roster.
He would be though.
It's the starting lineups. It's 11. Not all 52 are in.
If they intro 53, guess what number he'd be? Maybe first, actually, because maybe he doesn't want to wait.
Because he wants to stay warm.
Yeah.
It'll take
No,
a
I'm not
long
sure.
time. You guys need to pay TJ.
Do we?
Is he going to hold it in? What's he
Okay,
going to do?
Tony,
Okay,
he's
so
the guy.
Tone
You're saying this?
Tone is the guy saying, I don't think so. That's wild. That's wild. You've become that person.
I could go either way at this point.
What are the stats on when TJ plays and when he doesn't?
Completely defeated when TJ does not play. About 500 when he plays.
Okay, so we'll give DK $30 million. Okay, Mason
DK's
Rudolph's his
undefeated.
quarterback. Mason Rudolph's his quarterback.
DK's undefeated.
As Pittsburgh Steeler?
Yep.
I mean, Cam Hayward saying, look, fuck Aaron Rodgers. This guy doesn't want to play here. He doesn't have to play here. What's going on over there in Pittsburgh?
I'm excited what he says about TJ because TJ's doing the same thing.
I saw but TJ's done a lot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Cam probably understands that and appreciates that. We saw a lot of the Steelers, saw Kiesel, saw the boys at Big Night Out. Shout out to all the Steelers that came through. They reached out to the arena and they were like, hey, how do we go about getting tickets? Like, Pittsburgh Steelers want to come? We definitely get them in the building. That was a cool moment.
Yeah. Highsmith was there. Both Haywards were there. Kiesel was having a great time. Obviously, Seven was there.
Moth, I believe, was there.
And Christian Kuntz were there.
Duck.
They were having a good time.
Doc Hodges was there.
Doc Hodges was there. Yeah, the boys showed up. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great to see them. Penn showed up. Pirates had a suite. They showed up.
Yeah, well, they were hitting the batting cages since their average batting average is 184. So I'm glad they weren't there.
Scored 10 runs last
They
night.
said it's the worst.
cold out there.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, hopefully.
A
'cause
lot of walks, I guess.
they, yeah. Who are they playing?
That was against Cardinals, I want to say.
They play the Cardinals or the Reds every fucking game.
They're in San
Fresh
Francisco.
off
No, I
the
know.
sweep.
I know.
Reds
but-
already swept them. You know that.
Swept who?
Reds swept the Buccos 3-0.
It's too goddamn cold.
They did over the weekend.
Wait, you were at the Pirates game, right, AJ? Yeah.
I was at that one. Yeah, they didn't. They played the Cardinals that one. Yeah, but the Reds played them 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. 3 wins.
You got cornered. You got cornered in the suite there for a good bit. I walked into the suite. I saw AJ.
I thought they were all your friends. I thought these were all people you grew up with.
No, I didn't know any of those people.
Nope.
Yeah, they were very nice. Very nice, those people. Shout out to Sportsnet.
Yeah,
Shout out to Sportsnet.
Those cookies, man.
I didn't have any, obviously. Strict diet.
Great spread was good.
So good.
I had about 8 of the hot dogs that they had out there.
yeah.
Great ballpark dogs.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the Pirates. PNC Park is awesome.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That view.
Coolest view
It is. It really is.
out there.
Paul Skeens is doing things that I don't think any pitcher's done in a long time, right? There's more stats coming out about Paul Skeens every single time he pitches that nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, like his ERA and strikeouts and innings pitched through however many starts. Yeah, no one's ever replicated that to start their career.
And the guy's a baseball thrower, not a football thrower. Don't ask any questions.
He did try to throw a curveball with that thing.
Yeah, that is interesting because it's such a look at that. What the fuck is that?
Whoa.
What was that thing? They said he threw like
Yeah.
an 82 mile an hour sweeper or something. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a mixture of like a curveball slider type deal.
That ball's,
That one.
go back to that one.
The
Let's see.
fastball he throws, the movement on the fastball that he throws, I think is this last. Yeah, it's this one. Good luck fucking hitting that.
Yeah, that's what he did with the football right there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going in and then it's out.
He's also wearing that jacket, kind of restricted.
Sick David Allen jacket.
Sick DA jacket.
Shout out to DA coming through. Shout out to Mikey and Big Bob for the pre-record video they did. That was awesome. Set the tone for the entire night.
That was a good video.
Painter was cool too.
Cody Sable,
Yeah.
hand painter, so fucking talented.
Yeah.
Sacks.
Yeah,
Zach is
Owen
awesome.
Owen was
yeah.
unbelievable.
Anthem was awesome.
On the yeah, it was like I don't know how that didn't. Why was that not on the Hulu? I wonder.
Yeah, that was weird. So the version I grabbed, it was not in there, and then I'm realizing now that I just didn't add it in there after. So
Yeah,
it's
because
totally on me.
we still keep me referencing it in there.
Yeah,
But
that is totally on me because once you guys brought that up, I just realized that.
it was a full on.
What about the USA chant? We had a USA chant to start the whole thing.
Great USA chant.
Yeah, because then you come out right
coming out
after
of
that.
thing, yeah. So from the moment that show ended, I mean, I didn't even get to enjoy. I heard the catering was unbelievable, which I'm very happy about.
Very, very good.
That was very focal. That was a big focal point in my eyes. Hey, for everybody that's working here, a lot of hours, a lot of hard work. Let's make sure they're eating good. And catering can really change morale. So we wanted, I wanted to go all in on the catering. I didn't even get to eat the catering one time because we're obviously working through the stage and the rehearsals. Everybody had a good time. As soon as the show ends, get a quick chance to dap up with everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Good to see everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm about to piss my pants. Okay, I got to go here. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, is there anybody left? Yep, back there. Go say hi. Shane hanging still. A couple people in the back hanging. Want to say what's up. Cool, let's sit down. Do a little bit of that. Oh, I didn't wear socks. I got blisters all over my feet, my cowboy boots. Okay, bad decision. Let me sit down. Have a couple moments there. Everybody's heading to the hotel lobby. Sweet. Then me and Foxy just have to sit there and like, all right, we got to get this fucking video to Hulu in like 12 hours. We got to rip this. We got to clip this. We got to post this. We got to do this. That was a nightmare.
No, yeah, to be clear, I felt really bad about that. And thank you for staying up with me. But you literally just had your biggest show you've ever done, not only on stage, but everything that went into it, all of the phone calls. Literally, I've never seen someone on the phone more than you were prepping for this show. It was unbelievable. And this is weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of this. And then the show goes great. And right after, you're sitting there on a laptop in some random back room editing a video with me while everyone else is out having drinks and having a good time in your home city. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Well, I don't think I would have been able to go to that hotel. From what I've been told,
You would not
I don't
have
think
been
I would
able
have been able to go in there, which is a good thing and a bad thing. You know, if I would have walked in there,
One of the winners was there.
I think it would have been a good time. Hopefully, they were running up that tab.
He was
blacked out.
He was having a good time.
Okay, good. All right, good. I asked the $2 million winner. He lives in Pittsburgh area, and I did ask a couple times, hey, can you guys spend some money there, some restaurants? You know, maybe get a Dallas Out Pizza, buy 1,000 pizzas. You know, just get back to the community.
I lay low.
About to have a, if you're him,
In that jersey?
I lay low if I was.
Yeah, don't tell your buddies you won that.
they know.
Hey, they know.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm sure they've been calling.
Everybody
They've been calling.
knows a Philadelphia Eagles fan winning is the greatest ending.
Sweet.
Go Birds! It was good. It was good. I watched it again, the Hulu version last night. Not all of it. It's long. 3 hours too long. I think 2.5 probably the sweet spot, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
2.5 is probably where, if we were to do one again. 2.5 is where we'd like it to be. But I think that is replicable. I think we could travel to other cities, Pretty expensive night, obviously. Worth it, though. I think everybody had a great time. I think it is doable, again, in other cities. So now we're eyeballing what cities to kind of go and take it to. And also the acts that want to be a part of it, After seeing a lot of people have reached out and been like, yo, you doing that again?
Ichi's coming. He better be back.
Well, Hiroki needs
Hiroki is, yeah.
Hiroki's my guy. Yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah, Hiroki took the L, but in the end, I think he won.
Yeah.
He had a lot. From the moment he entered the stage
Stole the show.
Yeah.
to the time exiting, and Hiroki. Shane goes, hey. This is not racist. They told me to say this. Just had it said that. What a moment. Thank you to everybody, man.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, let's remember, Wiz Khalifa, Cushion OJ2, April 18th. Parker McCollum at Acrisure Stadium, May 31st with George Strait. Everybody that was a part of that program basically just did it for free because they wanted to put on a hell of a show, and we can't thank them enough for all of it. I will take my mind to that night time and time again, probably for the rest of my life. What a moment.
Great night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody singing along.
Yeah.
So what we we don't care who's in. So what we are, that's how it's supposed to be. Come on,
I had my hands up. I had my hands up. I'm telling you, I had my hands up. I look around the suite. Nobody else had their hands up. I was like, all right, guys.
Everybody had their hands up.
Not in the suite. A lot of people in the suite did not. And as I was trying to get everybody going again.
I'm disgusted if that was the case.
Snoop knows.
Yeah, he was.
When I talked to Snoop and Wiz and Will, shout out to Will, shout out to Tasha and Sarah from Snoop's team. Whenever I talked to Snoop the first time about it, FaceTime with him, I'm like, Snoop, I'm thinking about putting this variety show together in Pittsburgh. I've already talked to Wiz and Will, obviously, and we need you to be a part of it. He goes, oh, yeah, that's easy. We wrapped that up with Young, Wild, and Free, too. That's our biggest one. No problem at all. And then he started, piecing it together. And I'm like, yeah, hey, Snoop, whatever you're thinking, buddy. Whatever you are, whatever you want. So, the ownership that the guys took upon their performances, I'm very appreciative of. Jelly Roll.
Yeah, he was so pumped.
Jelly Roll, if you could see Jelly Roll live, you go watch Jelly Roll live. He and his entire band, 11-piece band.
Yeah.
Okay, which the setup for the 11-piece band was a lot, but certainly worth it with how fucking great they are and how talented they are and how getting a chance to meet them and talk with them, how appreciative they were to be a part of it, which was so cool. But Jelly Roll cares so much about people having a great time. Like the medley that played at the end, the hip-hop medley they pieced together, he was like, hey, we're going to treat this thing like it's a bar show. Is that okay? We want everybody to sing along. I'm like, yes, Jelly Roll. You completely understand the assignment. I think he does that for every show. I think Jelly Roll wants everybody to have a blast, including his band. So if you get a chance to go see Jelly Roll, you go. That is my big takeaway from it, especially getting a chance to work with him. And the fact that he's lost 200 pounds was so awesome to kind of see and report about. Jelly Roll's a special dude, special talent. His band's so damn good. What a way to start that entire thing.
I'm just watching the stage right now, and we knew watching it how cool it was, and it going up and down and everything like that. I saw a show 2 nights later in PPG. Boy, did your stage just, dunk on that thing 1,000 out of 1,000.
Well, shout out to the WWE. A guy named AJ is director of WWE production create. I told him he needs a better title.
Sure.
I told him. I said, AJ, I want to give you a shout out. What's the name of your group? Because he's got this group that is tasked with coming up with answers and ideas in building, the wristbands and everything like that. That's part of AJ's team.
Those were awesome.
The stage building, the lights, the lifts, the smoke, everything is from this guy AJ's team, who's actually a twin. His twin named Sam looks exactly like him, vastly different humans from what I found out. It was a little bit dark on the stage rehearsal day, and I seen AJ, and I had a question for AJ. AJ walks away. Then AJ walks in again, and I go, AJ. He goes, I'm not AJ. And yes, you the fuck are. I just talked to you. I'm Sam. I'm his twin brother. Oh, okay. Do you have the answer? No, that's AJ's. Okay. I will go to AJ. So AJ and his team, the WWE folks, all great. Stu, the cameraman, Cena's camera guy, he had that carry camera for 10 hours
Yeah.
The entire day.
Probably 11 straight hours.
That's a heavy rig, too.
And that's coming right out of WrestleMania. He was just in Europe, and let alone Rico and Sweaty and, Marty Fathom and the crew in the truck. It's like everybody. Grogan obviously out there grinding his ass off, running through the entire thing. I mean, it's
and think about how many shows and how many hours they're going to work just this weekend.
1,000.
Yes, on top of all that.
Yeah, so I'm very, very thankful for everybody. I will never stop saying that. And what a cool night. Hopefully we're able to do it again.
Hell yeah.
We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. A lot of time. A lot of effort. A lot of calls, a lot of thoughts. A lot of pitching what it is to people.
Well, now you don't hopefully have to do that anymore.
That's a big part of it.
Well worth it too. It was a success.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if that thing would have sucked, then it's a different conversation. But
Nightmare. Yeah. Everybody in there. And then obviously there was a fight. Pittsburgh.
Don't happen.
Only one. I know that's
Surprised.
not how media people are going to report it, but
Impressive.
That's impressive.
put me on the record as saying only one fight in Pittsburgh in a 3.5, 4 hour event with everybody on top of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know what your city's like. For Pittsburgh, that's really good.
The under
Really
hits.
good.
Yeah,
really
especially,
good.
especially with West Virginia people in there, Pitt people in there, Penn State people in there. I mean, it was I think it was a celebratory.
Yeah, I mean the
evening
money
through and through.
The money giveaways, like realistically, when that got down to the single rows, I was like, oh Jesus Christ! Like someone who wins in row or in seat 3, seat 4 is gonna cold cock them, and none of that shit happened. Everyone was genuinely excited for the people who won.
Him getting booed here, Aaron and Mara, they got to put it at $2 million, and then he gets booed, and I say, Philadelphia Eagles fan, you hear him kind of take a say, he goes, "Go Birds!" Here in a second. Holy shit, yeah. Oh my God, we did it. They're having a baby, which is awesome. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles fan winning that thing. Holy shit. Show him again. Go Birds! That's my favorite moment. All right. Let's get the hell out of here, boys. We're back tomorrow. Big one tomorrow.
Huge.
Hey, we might have some real journalism over the next couple of days.
Oh,
That's right.
And then Friday, 12:15 Eastern, 9:15 local. The original, the one Tribal Chief will be joining us.
Boom.
He looks good too.
Yeah.
Jacked.
He looks so jacked. Last night was a tough night for
We're
him.
going down, Heyman. Fucked up.
I like that he circled Paul a couple different times.
Sure.
Kind of let him feel the aura. Paul Heyman's in an interesting spot, ain't he?
Yes, he is.
He's fucked.
Not so wise, man.
Well, Seth also says, hey, you owe him. You owe me too, because he could have stomped his head.
I thought he was going to.
Seth, just the best.
Clean fit last night.
Those boots
Once
were,
again.
I mean, he comes
The
out
way
of
he
Tribal
moves
Chief
too.
again.
those boots were outrageous last night.
Classic long-term storytelling there. It's beautiful.
Takes another chair to
I did
his
see some
back.
throwbacks back in the day. A lot of people throwing some things back. That's the good thing about the wrestling world. Certainly on purpose. All those things. Him bringing the Shield chair shot last night.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually in the crowd because that happened in Indianapolis. The Shield breaking up at Gamebridge downtown. I was in the crowd whenever that happened. Holy shit. This changed the entire thing. Last night, Seth yet again. Just like at WrestleMania last year. Yet again.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in Mania?
I don't know.
Tribal Chief's going to win.
I got some questions about Paul.
About CM Punk?
Yeah.
What are your questions?
What are your questions
Well, you
about
just
CM
look
Punk?
Throwing haymakers, man.
But it's Mania season, so just,
You should just
gonna
look into
enjoy
his
the ride.
eyes, D-Butt.
I can't.
What do you see?
I'm terrified.
Cult of personality.
He has some sick shoes on too.
Huh?
He has some sick shoes on too.
He's a Hoka wearer.
The Hoka,
Yeah.
the
He's
pink
got
Hokas.
Hokas out there.
Hank didn't kick one of those. Oh no, never mind. Not the punches he throws.
His hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's clean.
This is the best hair CM Punk's had, I think, in a long time. I don't know for sure if that's a factual statement, but his hair right now.
I'd say so.
I mean, his hair in high school.
Were those custom Hokas? I never seen them with that thick on the bottom.
That's what Hokas are, brother.
No, those ones
They all
looked
are.
even a little bit more. I never seen.
Remember
them
those
that
ones
thick.
you had, Pat? You used to wear the platform ones where you'd roll your ankle.
They're all platform ones because you're trying to make it like you're on a clock.
Hokas are sick.
And I did fall off the
I'm running a
Hokas.
triathlon, maybe.
Well, maybe CM Punk is going to do that after his main event. Main event, CM Punk. Congratulations to CM Punk.
We wear Punk.
How about Mommy Io Sky and Bianca Belair? That one has gotten tensions high.
Io was speaking Japanese to us last night. I believe
She's done that the last few weeks, I believe.
Picked a few things up.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Because of the sumo wrestling?
Yeah.
Because of Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
That should be good.
Fred Armisen.
LA Knight, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great match.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
Scenes.
Are we, huh?
Gunter versus the Yeedsman.
I'll tell you what, Jey Uso looks like a different guy these last couple weeks. When we were in Europe
Locked
there, I
in.
was a little worried.
Locked in.
I was a little worried. I'm like, what do we got here?
Mm-hmm.
Gunther seems to be in complete control. Gunther snapped a little bit. He kind of lost his cool last time. Michael Cole was supposed to interview him. It didn't happen at all.
Also, that was Gunther was on his home turf.
You're right over in Europe.
Jay needed his brother James back around.
Jimmy got his ass beat there right in front of him. And I think it was that moment where Jay was like, is that the worst that could happen? He's still alive. I'll keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Sacramento was eating hard last night.
Looked like it.
There was a lot of... Michael Cole needs to figure that out before Mania.
He needs to figure out, like, why does he keep trying to say that about Chad Gable? Like that he's...
Yeah, I don't know. Why does he keep saying two people or one people? We get yelled at for saying, like, conspiracy stuff. Michael Cole is saying that two different people are the same person. I'm about sick of it.
It's just not true.
He's old.
It's not possible.
I mean, I guess there is some similarities if you look at the body type and everything, but El Grande Americano is a vastly different wrestler than Chad Gable was.
Yeah.
Completely
He's a luchador.
Exactly.
Both of them pretty jacked, pretty ripped.
Yeah.
Oh, it's professional wrestling.
So is everybody in there.
This is the WWE, AJ.
I'll tell you what, Rey Mysterio last night did a springboard splash from the outside. He's been doing that for 25 years.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, I'm like, how the fuck is he still that explode? Legitimately.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he's still, because those ropes high. Like
Very high. Very high.
In my match against Corbin, I did a slingshot out to the outside, and I've never done it before, but I'm like, feels like right time. He was standing down there, like, I need to do this. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, high school, I used to have to jump fences, on the way out of things. I used to think I was pretty good, but that thing's moving a little bit, so you don't know where to. So as I'm going over, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not going to get over this thing. And then Rey Mysterio just grabs that fucking thing and flies through the sky. It's like, this guy's unbelievable. He's got his work cut out for him, though. El Grande Americano has been
no joke.
Quite a problem since arriving on the scene.
Mean cuss.
I don't know much about him, honestly. I know he's willing to put the Cinco head in there, not just a 4-head, the 5-head with the steel underneath the mask. That has been quite a weapon for him.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't the ref got to check that, you think?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like cheater, but...
Cheater, yeah, he's willing to break the rules a little bit. We're learning about El Grande Americano as we go here.
He's a competitor.
He is.
Whatever it takes.
Fiery.
Gotta respect that.
I heard him speak a little Spanish, too. I think he said, silencio. I think El Grande, he must be from a part of Mexico.
Different.
Close to the Texas border.
The accent.
Like Baja, California.
Yeah, his lingo might be a little bit different. I think he said, gracias, as well.
Nailed it.
Pulling for all of them.
Yeah.
That chop by Penta was phenomenal.
That's Penta football.
And Michael Cole started talking. I'm like, Cole, please. Penta speaking. I've been learning a lot of Spanish through Penta.
His walk.
La Parca, I believe, used to do it. Is that a WCW guy, right? Parca? He's kind of very similar. That's what he does that well. So they do those arrival shots. And I don't know. I don't know if they tell him just however you would arrive, but you can see Penta like casually walking, and then in his head he's like, I can't do it. I gotta do something. Oh, he can't help himself. Like needs to be electrifying. You can see middle of match. He's like, all right, need to heighten the stakes a little bit here. Need to get electrified. He is inexperienced. The Penta experience is on. I can't wait for WrestleMania with Penta.
Yeah.
Legitimately. Cero, miedo. And then I was talking to him backstage. And I was like, is there anything I can add to that? And he gave me some Spanish lingo to throw on the back end of that. That I guess would have been translated to motherfucker. If I would have said it. Because like immediately after he told me, I was like, okay, sick. I'm going to say that. He like just laughed and like walked away. So I get in the Gorilla and there's some other Spanish speakers. And I'm like, zero miedo, panta, whatever it was. And they're like, you should not say
Don't say that.
I'm like, all right, okay, all right. I'll get better. I'll get better in Spanish. Rey Mysterio always walks over to me, though. Last night he was even, because he doesn't like that I am, still non-biased against El Grande Americano. Because I'm just trying to call it as I see it.
Yeah.
That's how you're a professional.
Shoot it straight.
That's right. Cole's not at all.
No, he's not.
So somebody here has to at least.
It's a big mark.
You would think he would be after all those years, but he's not.
Not at all. But Ray comes out and he goes to me. And I'm like, Ray, I'm a fan. Well,
Come on.
I'm a fan of everybody.
Yeah, you're fucking right there.
Viva la raza. Rey Mysterio. Mm-hmm. Should be a great WrestleMania week.
Pumped.
So good.
Miz getting a big push.
You know,
what is the
Miz doing this week?
I think we know. Eating potato chips and hanging out on his bus.
No, he might be golfing.
Puts good golf videos out. Yeah,
there you
puts
go.
Golf videos out.
He said he's gotten worse somehow. You see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
His swing is beautiful. Great swing.
He changed his swing. I don't know if you saw.
I mean, yeah, he's in his head a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I think the Miz will probably live in his head for the rest of his life. But hashtag Miz Golf is it's a must follow.
That's how powerful the game of golf is, because Miz is the most confident person I've ever met in my life, and even golf has defeated the Miz.
Yeah, you're right. The Miz can walk into any situation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm supposed to be here. I'm the man.
Mm-hmm.
And golf was like that for, 2 years with him?
For a long time. Think about the NBA All-Star game. He thinks he's an NBA basketball player now because he was in that All-Star game.
Half-court shot.
And he made the shot.
But it didn't count. Which is the most amazing thing of all time. But you're right. Golf has kind of humbled him a little bit. I'll even see a caption that, I'm not good today. It's like, whoa, are you okay? Is Miz all right? Golf broke him. Hey, you could be like Connor and I, Miz, and just stop playing the game.
Yeah, it's great life.
It's not bad.
I'm really enjoying it.
I don't even have to think about whether or not the ball's going to go the way I want it to go.
Nope. Doing the golf simulator, really fun.
Have you been doing it?
No. No.
But it's fun.
But I'm sure if someone were to do it, they'd be like, this is fun.
Remember, I did the sim for a couple months, and I got worse at golf.
Yep.
And I said, that's it. If I'm going to practice and
You're
get
an
worse,
outdoors guy.
I'm done with this thing.
Fuck that.
Who has enough time to try and master this sport? But I'll tell you what, you watch the Masters, you think to yourself,
Yeah, I got to get out there.
it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. That shot on Saturday that Rory hit on that par 5, that was exactly like Tiger's shot. Think about how fucking awesome that had to be.
Oh, my God.
Just boom, boom. Beautiful shot. And then as it's flying, just walk that thing off. That had to feel so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but we all know none of us will ever be there, so who cares?
AJ.
I don't know. I don't.
If you try hard enough.
AJ will be there.
E-Bucks.
AJ's been there.
I have unrealistic expectations for myself.
You're new to the game. Yeah, we understand that.
I'm still in where Miz was probably
He-Buck
years
will.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times are we playing a week? Are we still
I
playing?
try. Well, now that it's nice out up here, I can get out on getting nice like twilight. So whenever I can get out up here, it's probably twice a week if I can.
Still playing, though, twice a week, roughly.
Yeah, playing.
How's the game? Are we getting better?
The game is good. I mean, I consistently break 90. So I'm trying to take that next jump where I'm consistently breaking 85.
I love that.
No bullshit, no free drops and mulligans and all that shit.
Hold on, though. You're not looking for a ball.
No,
like if we know it's in this area.
Gallery drop. Well, if it's in the area that we know it came down, like I'm not a guy that's going to look around. Hey, come help me out. Look for 4 or 5 minutes for my fucking ball. No, I drop it. Or
drop it, take a stroke.
Yeah, or no, if I'm with somebody.
He's not taking a stroke. That's what he said, gallery drop.
Gallery drop, I will not take a stroke. But if we legit, nobody saw it come down, can't find it, I'll take a stroke for sure.
Okay, so gallery drop, I'm learning, is the term. Because I've been playing by this golf rule my entire life. So we all saw it in this area.
Yeah, we know it's up.
I'm not a fucking bloodhound. Okay, I'm not going to be able to find this goddamn ball, and I don't have time. It's in this area.
Yeah, we know it's here.
That's called a gallery drop.
Yeah, I believe so.
You don't need to remember that.
We're not playing a game anymore.
No fucking way.
Get back out there, man.
Foxy's playing really well, I think. Foxy, aren't you playing some good golf right now?
Yeah, so I played 3 rounds so far this year, all 9-hole rounds, and I played really well. I shot 38 the first time I went out, which is really incredibly good for me. So, my expectations are all right here. I even changed my swing, and it's working, so I'm in a bad spot going into this season right now.
What do you mean? What you do? How'd you change? Come out of pocket a little bit?
Yeah, I'm actually, hitting the ball on the sweet spot, whereas before it was just weak right, weak right, weak right. So for some reason, it's not going as far, but it's going exactly where I want it to, and it just feels right, if that makes sense.
AJ, have you been playing?
I have not logged any rounds this year, but I've hit my 54. Yeah, I've hit my 54 degree wedge down the basement. That's what I hit downstairs.
How often do you hit? You hitting that sim every single day, huh?
No, but I mean, I definitely do, especially after like watching the Masters. Yeah, I'll hit in there a couple times a week, no doubt.
You don't believe in swing changes though? Every time somebody says swing,
No
changes
chance.
Like
I don't believe in thinking when it comes to golf. Like I have delusional confidence. Like I feel like wherever I go, like I can figure it out. Like I definitely don't take time like worrying about golf. Like I'm always like positive. Hey, it doesn't matter. Glass half full. Like if I drove it 700 yards out of bounds, all right, let's take a stroke. Boom, let's get up and down for par.
Yeah, but somehow when you drive it 700 yards out of bounds, you find it on the other side of the woods, and there's a clear path right to the green. I think that's potentially because of how positive you are. I think that's because of how positive you are.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like I'm not smart enough to understand what anything means. Like, I'm coming inside out or over the top or out of the pocket. Like I legit, that sounds like Chinese to me. I don't know. I don't understand.
Mandarin.
I just go try to swing.
Chinese are the people
someone
from China.
A Chinese person, I meant. You know.
Yeah, Mandarin would be the language that you're saying they're speaking that you wouldn't be able to understand. You happen to have like a perfect swing, though, I think. That's potentially, that's why.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what anybody's saying. I've ever thought. You just fucking look at the ball, you take the stick, and you just fucking hit the thing. What is everybody thinking about? His drives. You should be in a long drive. You should do a long drive. You should try that one time. Will you do that for the program just one time?
What kind of like one of the real competitions?
Yes,
but I think those dudes hit it a lot farther than me.
Yeah, but they're using juiced up sticks.
The big drivers.
Yeah. The thing's like 30 feet long, that driver. Yeah, let me try one of those.
We need to get you the John Ham.
Yeah.
The hammer.
Hammer.
We need to get you that hammer in there. Because the way you hit your drive, it's cheating. Like golf becomes much easier with the way you hit that thing.
Well, you got to put it in play.
How far is he hitting that?
You do.
Forever.
Because I know AJ will lie. So
it goes, and it's fucking, the flight is.
It's awesome.
350.
And then it just
so
comes.
awesome.
Numerous people at the course that are working that American Century Classic, like the volunteers or whatever, haven't seen anybody hit it this far thus in the tournament, in every single hole. It's basically like, haven't seen anybody put it this far on the fairway every time. It's just, there's trees. Okay, it's par 5. Trees here, fairway here. To get it to here, it's got to carry 320 probably. AJ, no thinking. We're fucking. And it's 340 coming down on the other side. Straight. It's like a plane, a jet engine taking off, or jet plane taking off as well. The way it's like, it's a spectacle.
Yeah.
And he's falling like Scheffler while he's doing it out of his
forward. If I fall forward, that's when I can hit it. Yeah.
And Riggle's trying to golf, and his lady was his caddy. She's a professional golfer. She wasn't letting him watch AJT, like drive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't watch.
She told Rob not to watch me swing.
Rob, because she thought that Rob would start really going too hard, trying to keep up with AJ. That's what he does at a tee box. He fucking intimidates others.
Alpha.
Yeah, like, don't watch. Like, she was literally like covering his eyes. He was facing the other direction. And I'm almost like, hey, there's about to be a show over here. You want to fucking watch? Golf ball whacker guy's about to do his thing. And they're like, we don't want to watch him. We don't want to watch him. That's what he does in the tee-ball.
The first year on 18 with Riggle, AJ hit it. It was like a 520 or 525 par 5 on 18. And AJ hit it. And when we got up there, that's when one of the people said, this is the farthest we've ever seen someone, hit a ball. And then when we got next to him, we used the rangefinder, and it was like 115 to the pin.
Yeah, it's like 400 yards.
Yeah.
And it's at altitude, obviously.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And
like it was that far.
And
it's roll out, little roll out.
Yeah, but the flight of it is like a fucking.
Oh yeah.
And then it like just floats up there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to watch.
And you could take one look at AJ, and you could probably guess that he hits the ball pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing was he does that, and then he's got silky smooth hands around the greens, and he's making putts.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that he was making putts.
And the golf gods bless him.
Oh yeah.
It's not like.
Bullshit.
You know how you hope for a good bounce?
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that one Rory on I think 11.
Bingo.
Yeah.
AJ's getting good bounces on everything. Even if it's the sprinkler head, he'll fucking hit that thing and then it's going onto the green. As opposed to like kicking out to the thing. It's hitting the direct center of the sprinkler head and then it's rolling up to 3 feet somehow. Oh, good bounce.
That was cool.
And then the next hole, we're going off a fucking tree right into the goddamn fairway every time.
It's because I'm not a victim. Because a lot of golfers are victims. Oh, of course my ball would get stuck in a divot. Of course it would do this. Like, don't be a victim. You don't ever need to be a victim in anything.
AJ is super positive, I will say. Boy, walking that course out there is
2 thumbs down.
I wish I had 2 more hands. So I could get walking that course. 4 thumbs down. Beautiful event though, and watching AJ drive a ball is a spectacle. We need to get you one of those telephone poles so you can take on those fucking long drive.
Fun.
So you're open to it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Boom. Open to everything and touch to nothing.
Speaking of, what's he up to, dude? You got any Saints?
I'm kind of attached to a lot of things, though. So, like
Got a lot of
family, kids, and wife.
Chicken, rice.
Everything.
Plain chicken.
Yep.
I don't know. What is there? Are the Saints an option? We hear anything on that front?
You tell me.
I got nothing. You know,
we were talking about this earlier, and I don't know if people believe us whenever we say this, but it is the truth. We, in this Thunderdome, do not know shit about what Aaron Rodgers is thinking or doing. Like, during the season, we certainly talked to him. And we mentioned this during Big Night Out. Like, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday ends after the season ends, and then if he comes back for a recap, that's literally on him or not. The 1 year, whenever he didn't after the Jets, obviously after Aaron Rodgers Tuesday was over, I was called a coward and everything. And then he was brought on the next day. Then I was called the worst person on earth. I mean, it was an interesting back-to-back, this relationship with Aaron. We've been very lucky to get a chance to chit-chat with him and learn about him and everything like that. But we don't know shit about what's happening with him. We hypothesized today, it would be cool if you're Aaron Rodgers to stay in shape. You know, not have to do any of the offseason stuff, not have to do any of the training camp. Week 10, week 11, week 12, a starting quarterback for a very good team goes down, inevitable. And then all of a sudden, who comes?
Sweet.
That would be so cool. Yeah. He goes to the, not that we don't want to put anything in the sky.
Right.
But let's say Jared Goff, something happens to Jared Goff. Not that we want that to happen, but like, let's just say something happens to Jared Goff or Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts or Lamar, any of these good teams that we were talking about. Something happens week 13, week 14, need a quarterback. And then who's out there? Well, there's a fucking 4-time MVP coming right off the couch, like Flacco did for the Browns whenever he leads them in there. You're coming in a hero situation. You're coming in a you're going to get paid a good amount of money. The incentives are probably going to be there for you to win, and you're only going to go to a winning team. So it's like, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not, it'd be cool if I was. Just, he can play guitar so well.
Sure.
He's, you know,
golf.
He's so good at golf. Done
really good golf.
So good at golf. Makes no sense how good he is at golf. Hey, have you been golfing all? No, I was actually in Hungary. It's first time playing with the sticks. Scratch. Okay. Unbelievable. Could you imagine coming in there week 13, though? No expectations. One of the best teams in football. And then all you got to do is finish the season and go on a playoff run. And then just gradually learn. And then you might win a fucking Super Bowl with these teams. It's like, that's a possibility.
Idea.
That's a possibility still that nobody's really talked about.
Yeah. He shows up like super tan because he's been in Morocco for 2 months, but he's been throwing the ball with whoever he's at in Morocco. That'd be pretty sweet.
Have you ever been in Morocco? I've been to Morocco. You ever been over there?
No. What's it like?
Good town, good place. I got pickpocketed playing soccer in the streets there. Yep. But that was a good move.
Oh, is that where they tried to sell you the coffee beans or whatever and you turned them down?
Yeah, argan oil, argan nuts, the Moroccan nuts. Great guy over there. Chugged some tea, really lit the room on fire that I went to. Had a nice, they got a lot of good rugs, I believe, Moroccan rugs. I believe.
Hookah out there, too.
Hookah, yeah, I think I did. I think I did have some hookah there. Good place, great place. You know, it's right there on the Mediterranean. So Spain's there. I think the Canary Islands are right there as well.
You ever been to Ibiza?
Ibiza?
Ibiza. My bad. Ibiza.
I've never been to Ibiza.
Uncultured asshole.
Me either. I've never been to Ibiza.
Child.
But there is a chance that Aaron is at Ibiza. And Jordan Love just got hurt. The Green Bay Packers need a quarterback. It's week 15. Stop the beat. Could you imagine?
Oh my God!
Throws a jetpack on.
Yeah.
Takes off into a helicopter. Yeah.
Jetpack. He just levitate, grab his wand, get his staff out or whatever.
So what he would do? He would move the rock there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he would walk right back into Green Bay.
I'm back.
Packer quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He'd have that long johns on.
Yep.
That he always wears. Come jogging out.
No matter what.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey!
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they would do.
Yep.
There's
They move the rock at the entrance. No, sorry, they move the like he's coming out of the tomb. That's the entrance. When he's last, they cut to they zoom out from the rock and they roll the stone out, and Aaron just comes out of smoke.
Yeah.
And then they got that doppelganger guy standing right on top of him.
Yeah.
Aaron actually turns it, murders him.
Boom. Yeah. Stops halfway. Cobb and AJ.
I was
coming
joking. He's not actually going to kill somebody. Jeez,
No.
Louise, in the time that we're in. But That's a possibility.
It is.
It is. Highly likely.
Can't rule it out.
Would be a cool thing to be able to do for the first time in your entire career, too. Just kind of like come in as a hired gun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Going to be a welcomed addition to whatever team you are at that stage of the season. This is now assuming that somebody's going to get hurt, which we don't want to do, but it is the NFL, and that is certainly possible out there. I mean, open anything attached to nothing.
Yeah, the most interesting one would be like if the Bears are good.
He'd never do
Caleb Williams gets hurt.
I don't think he'd do that.
And then the Bears call.
I don't think he would.
And they offer
Ben Johnson's offense? Oh, my God.
I don't think he would. Well, we'll see if Ben Johnson's offense is good this year. He was great in Detroit, but, let's not put the cart before the horse.
What are you talking about? They've been making all the good moves. They've been signing all the offensive linemen. I love
know.
what they did.
I know. We got to see it out there.
Hey, I saw the Chicago Bear family said they're going to own the team for the next 100 years as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's still happening.
I remember there was a super duper agent that was on our show from Radio Row.
Very super.
The superest agent probably. Going, what's going on over there? Huh? In their little taxes, there's going to be some stuff. It's going to have to go on up there. Could you imagine? The Chicago Bears would go for quite a
Yeah, you might have to
quite a hefty ransom if they were for
They're
sale.
also building 2 stadiums as of right now.
Because they can't figure out which one.
They don't know what they want to do.
That's so classic Illinois politics.
Just start them both.
Listen, start them. We'll figure it out at some point. Okay, somebody's going to have to budge.
Whatever finishes first, right?
We do concerts, right?
That's like Cleveland, right? Didn't something going on with the stadium in Cleveland too? Not everybody's thrilled.
Yep.
I think they're doing it, right?
When's the Buffalo Stadium?
They want a new one,
Buffalo
right?
one's-
26,
they
I thought.
The Buffalo one, they just put the last beam in or something like Buffalo one's on it. It looks awesome, too.
Yeah, it does look awesome up there. How's the Bison?
Not
big enough.
Not big enough.
Yeah.
You
amen.
haven't even
No
seen
way.
it.
I've seen
That's the problem with modern journalism.
Don't need
I've
to see
seen
it to know it ain't big enough.
We're going to try to do a show from underneath one of those Bison.
Not enough room.
Do it
Good
from
luck. We
in
won't
one
fit.
of the bison.
I'll fit. I'm
On top
6. Huh?
On top of it.
It's too tall. We're not going to be able to be up there. Wind.
Yeah, okay.
Lake effect.
It ain't too tall.
It is. They're
We
big.
could probably. I'm sure D-Buck could, standing 2-foot jump on top of those things.
Well, D-Buck's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
We get up.
I know.
D-Bone might be able to stand a 2-foot jump on top
D-Bone.
of those things.
I don't think so.
Agreed. I think so.
I just hope they're
think
sturdy
good.
enough to hold D-Bone.
Seen
All
a
right.
rebound.
Okay.
33.
I saw D-Bone build
He was.
a chair in here yesterday.
Locked in.
Yeah.
The dog.
Nimble.
He was laying on his belly.
He was.
Yeah, he was sick of standing and using the top of the trash cans.
He was in the prone position.
He was laying down on his tummy. Did you see that yesterday? He was down on his tummy
did.
playing sticks.
I did see that. D-Buck basically helped Tim build part of that gazebo yesterday.
I've seen.
We were out there helping him hold up the beams.
Yep, BAJ.com.
Tim told me it's too windy to put steel up there.
Yeah,
I'll be
sheet
back.
metal flying everywhere.
Tim's awesome.
Sheet metal's going to be flying around. We'll be back tomorrow for a gazebo. We'll see what the weather's going to be. I'll ask Donardo, see if it'll be good. There's D-Bone looking like he's a sniper, but instead he was just building a lounge chair, which I appreciate. I got sent this photo out of nowhere, looked at my phone, said, what the fuck is this?
Fell asleep.
D-Bone fell asleep in the middle of it?
Yeah, fell asleep actually right there. That's why we got the photo. His chin is resting on the back of the.
You did a great job. Chairs look amazing. They genuinely do. It's great to be back here in the Thunderdome. It's been a while since I've been here. Sacramento's far.
It's great to have you back. Yesterday was quite the show without you here. Let's just be honest.
Well, I'm going to be honest. When I was in Sacramento, I lost service a couple times. Couldn't see you, couldn't hear you a few times.
Yeah.
We'll get that all figured out. But nonetheless, great to be back here in the Thunderdome. Place looks good. Thanks for holding it down. Thanks for traveling out here, AJ. You're the man. And we'll be back tomorrow on this WrestleMania week. Huge weekend in Las Vegas. I can't stress this enough. Hall of Fame on Friday night. East Coast is going to be tough to stay up for.
Sure.
I think
It's gonna be worth it though.
It is going to be worth it. A lot of huge names. Triple H obviously going in. Shawn Michaels inducting him. Undertaker's going to be there. Michelle McCool. I believe Bret Hart. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
Michael Cole. Yeah. It's about to be a who's who at that Hall of Fame. 10 p.m. Pacific. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been legitimized. Roman Reigns, I will be there live this Friday, 9:15 a.m., so you and your audience can acknowledge me in person. You got it, Roman.
We will.
We will.
Always.
We certainly will, Roman Reigns. We will acknowledge. You know, I almost, last night as I was sitting there and I saw Roman kind of all by himself, I was like, I ain't going to let him know I'm on his side.
Yeah.
I almost thought about putting
Should.
going in there. I'm with you, buddy. I don't know about this guy. Paul Heyman, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where your mind lies. I don't know what it's all about. But I'll tell you what, Roman, I appreciate everything you've done for me. Think about what he did for the business. Hardest time in the history of the business. There's no fans. None. COVID era. Everything's done. It's over. Who came through? Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. Carried the company on his back. Took it to levels that it's never been before. We get a multi-billion-dollar deal with Netflix. Why? Because our tribal chief showed up.
He never asked for one favor.
Not once.
He gets it done himself.
He ain't begging.
No.
He's going and doing. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And that's what it's all about with our tribal chief. So we will acknowledge Friday, 9:15 a.m. local. Might as well be 4 a.m. in Vegas, 9:15 a.m. That is an early start time. We appreciate Roman and our tribal chief making the appearance. We hope you all will join us. It'll be a good show. Those wrestling shows are absurd.
They're fun.
They
great
will
time.
They will be a good show.
Excited to see the gimmicks.
What are you
talking about?
What are you?
You'll see. I got something up my sleeve.
Really, for Vegas or just for wrestling?
Just for wrestling. I don't give a fuck about Vegas.
Cole's singled on?
I'm not there for Vegas. I'm there for fucking WrestleMania.
It happens to be.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it could
doesn't hurt that it's in Vegas.
It could be in a parking lot in Odessa.
Have we made any decisions? I agree. I agree with what you're saying there. I understand where you're going, especially from Odessa. But have we made any decisions on what we're doing with these blackjack tables and what we're doing with the casinos?
I know we got some reserved if we need them.
Yeah, but okay, that's not good news. Okay,
We're going to win.
New Orleans.
Bill's not coming, right?
Yeah, if I see Bill, I'm going to shoot him in the head.
I think it's just Bill can't gamble, and if he does, he has to be at a different casino than anybody else.
Yeah,
Okay, so not just different table.
casino.
No, yeah. Like, I don't want to see. I don't want to see Bill's fucking bulbous bald head anywhere near me on the casino floor.
Yeah, we need to tink his hands.
Yeah.
So he can't hit. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to do it for him.
He was making some asinine plays.
He's standing on 8. He stood on 8.
I was disgusted. He was sitting right next to me because you guys were obviously saying all the things about him while I was not there. And then I get there and I'm like, why is everybody saying everything about Bill? I'm like, good to see you, Bill. He's like, can I sit here? Absolutely, Bill, because nobody else will let him play. So then we get about 2 hands into this thing and I look at the decisions he's making and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Bill, no human in the history of gambling has ever done what you're doing. You're giving yourself negative chance to win. I think I got a shot. You don't. His money gets wiped out quicker than anybody else. You would think he would change because he's losing faster than anybody. He's stubborn.
Oh, boy.
He is stubborn in his ways.
It's his gimmick now.
Making terrible decisions at the blackjack
It
table.
sucks.
It does suck.
But I'll never play with him. I actually never have. I've only heard about it.
You've only watched this.
Yeah. I've only witnessed the madness of Bill McComas.
It was just me and him at a table at one time.
Ooh.
Me, him, and a dealer, and the dealer was even like,
Yeah, jeez. He didn't close.
is
the
this
table.
boy okay?
Yeah.
Foxy was good with it. Foxy, weren't you cool with it?
With Bill? Absolutely
Yeah.
not. No, I was not cool with it.
Thought you
but
were.
I will say the last time we gambled, I had a blackjack in the game blackjack. And the dealer looked me in the eyes
Oh, yeah.
and said, you should double down here. And I said, I have a blackjack. That makes absolutely no sense. You should double down here. And that's when I knew that New Orleans, they were just trying to take our money. They weren't even trying to help us.
What'd
at
you
all.
do?
I took the blackjack and took my money, and I left the table and looked
Coward.
in the eyes. That's what everyone around me said. They didn't get me, though.
Good move, Fox. Away,
That's
Fox.
Good move,
Foxy. Take
Foxy.
the money when you can. How about AQ Shipley? He had it fucking figured out. You remember?
Oh yeah.
I found the 2-deck
Yeah, let's go play
blackjack.
2 decks.
Yeah, if you do the math, there's only 16 face cards, and then you start talking about it. You got 2 of those 32. Once you start counting them, you okay? Are you doing that? Oh yeah, in real time. I go over there. His chips are
Pretty quick.
disappearing.
Oh yeah.
I think it only took 1 deck. Mm-hmm. There was 2 decks over there. I only needed 1 to take all of AQ's money. He had it fucking figured out.
What's he been up to?
So there's 8 aces in this entire thing. Let's remember that. If you see one, go ahead and remind yourself. Are you counting cards? Oh yeah. Do you know how to count cards? I watched the movie 21. Okay. He lost thousands over there.
Oh yeah.
Just thinking he had it figured out.
It's fun though.
What if the dealer was like, okay, there is now 7 aces left, like while dealing to him? Some of those people have it figured out though.
Oh yeah.
Like some of those people are real weapons. Like Dana, I guess. Dana White is one of those guys. Has it figured out. He'll go huge and then he'll just bounce.
He'll leave. That's why. Yeah, 'cause he'll leave. He'll get up and see you.
He has it figured out where I think it's like if we were to you put $10 down, if you lose 10, you then put $20 down. If you lose 20, you then put 40. That's how he has it figured out. not all of us have those funds like he does to figure it out that way.
Yeah, and he's been booted from a few places because of his style and his technique and his strategy. I've seen somebody with that strategy with a Gatorade bottle into a trash can.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it ended up being like a $35,000 trash can throw. Double or nothing all the way.
Those add up.
They certainly did. And then somebody was like, just say no. Say no, double or nothing. And the person that was potentially on the beneficial side of that was like, how? Am I supposed to say no to this? It's like, yeah, you walk out of here with fucking $17,500 right now. Nobody ever says no. Inevitably, garbage can gets hit. Nobody wins any money. But I guess at blackjack, if you do that, you can just keep going.
Why not?
And then eventually.
Because he said he was going to get us our money back for the U2 suite.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll get you tonight. Just come over. How much was it? 30 grand? Yeah, no problem.
Piece of cake.
First hand, $30,000. See? You won it.
See you
Get
later.
out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck off.
It's a good game.
What's going on at the Sphere?
Is it Dead and Company?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it is, right?
I'm pretty sure.
They announced whoever's after them, though, too. I know.
Kenny Chesney.
I saw
Oh,
him
that's
kinda
right.
setting
Yeah.
up. That's going to be awesome.
I think so.
I think what Kenny's concert is good for the Sphere. You know, I think it'll be a very feel-good, good vibe.
He understands the Sphere, what it is.
I think he wants to, at least, yeah, which is good.
Depending on what's going on, I think we should just think about fuck the music. Let's do the, immersive planet Earth type experience.
Okay, April 19th, the Sphere Experience Postcard from Earth.
Yeah, that's the one. That's Friday, though, or that's Saturday.
11:15 a.m.
Okay. Boom.
Just stop by that. Go do WrestleMania.
You're gonna be up until 6 a.m. Eastern time on Friday night. I don't think you're gonna want to be. I think you're gonna want to sleep a little bit.
I did look at the itinerary. My wife is like, okay, I'm traveling out there for WrestleMania. What is your schedule? And I was like, do you have a minute? Let me
sit down.
Let me go ahead and run through this thing. Friday, we're pretty much.
Friday, I don't
Friday, we're
exist.
doing it. Friday, we're just on a microphone.
From the moment you land, it's basically.
Yeah, and then Saturday, guess what? Wake up. That's cool. I'm gonna take a shower probably, and then guess what happens immediately after that? Microphone.
Because you don't show up, just at showtime. You got to be there for you.
Yeah. Well, there's a countdown, and then there's a kickoff.
Yep.
There's obviously
like 8 hours before.
But it's gonna be nice out. Not like Philly. Philly was
that-
fucking
Oh, yeah.
freezing.
That
so
is
let's
the big-
remember
And
that
it's inside.
also when we're running through this.
and it's Vegas, so that and it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like this is always an honor to be a part of. Legitimately, anytime they ask me to be a part of anything, I'm so incredibly grateful and thankful for it. But I did start looking at the itinerary, and I'm like, so is there time to breathe in here, or no? WrestleMania weekend, and then we got Monday, our show there, and then the Raw after Mania is always the most absurd thing. So it's just like,
Well, guess what's Thursday next week?
yeah. Then we got the draft next Thursday, which is good. Start of the new year.
Yeah.
That's right.
NFL.
And then the week
Green
after
Bay
that,
for that.
the week after that's your birthday, which
We got a massive thing happening in New York, which should be sweet.
and then the week after that.
Is great week. It's going to be a great week. Yeah. Then we got summer, and then we're right in a train camp.
Boom.
Let's live, baby. Honored and lucky to do this. At some point, there's going to come a time where none of these opportunities are available, and I'm going to be disappeared. You guys are probably going to be taking over the world, and we're just going to be watching from afar. The fact that we get to be a part of any of this is so incredibly cool. And there's not a single moment where I don't look in the mirror and think to myself, this is the dumbest life of all time. But I always end it with saying how appreciative and grateful I am for every opportunity, because whenever I was a little boy, obviously this is only things that I could dream of. So we will travel out to Las Vegas. We will enjoy the hell out of all of it. Incredibly lucky to be a part of the biggest weekend in sports entertainment, in professional wrestling. And then next week, the draft begins a whole new round of, holy shit, what are they going to do? Can't wait for that.
Can't wait.
And then inevitably, football is going to happen. And then we're going to have an NBA champion. And we're going to have a Lordo Stanley Cup champion.
Right.
And then we're going to have an MLB World Series.
Right.
And then we're going to have magic happening all around us that we can't help ourselves from saying, thank God we're alive. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're going to sing together. Team on me, team on three. We'll see you tomorrow. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.